Aero-News Network's coverage of the 68th Annual AEA International Convention and Trade Show, live from Phoenix, Arizona, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
Direct Fly USA proudly introduces the new Alto NG, a single-engine, two-seat light sport aircraft for the North American market. This simple, all-metal aircraft design provides low maintenance cost, easy, comfortable access, and responsive flight controls. Equipped with the Rotax 912 engine and a ballistic parachute, the Alto NG is reliable and safe. Learn more about the Alto NG at directflyusa.com.
I'm currently using the Hartzell Talon, by far the best aerobatic propeller ever come out.
I use the Trailblazer. It adds performance to the Super Decathlon and dependability, and it's rugged.
Hartzell's been an excellent partner for Whip Air, just in terms of your product support as well as keeping an eye on the market and developing new products that meet demand.
It's helping us all have better performing airplanes.
It's such a proud honor to fly behind that propeller.
And good morning, AEA. Live from the 68th Annual AEA Convention and Trade Show at the Phoenix Convention Center. We are on our third day of live coverage of this amazing event from an extraordinary community that keeps aviation moving. Not only tells it where to go, but gets it there safely. And we sure appreciate everybody in the industry, because having been a pilot out there, I just realized the other day, it's like 54 years now. Avionics, or the way we get around, and the community here has just been extraordinary. And under the guidance of AEA in particular, it's going to great places. One of the highlights of AEA is the opening day and the new product introductions, and we're following up on some of the cool stuff, aviation toys if you will, that we saw at the NPI this year. So star of stage, screen, and NPI, these are the guys from ADS. Jeremy, first, tell me what you're doing here.
Well, we're here today to showcase our brand new Bridal cable clamp tensioning tool. This tool is designed to take the burden off the technicians, so they don't not pulling like springs and using safety wire contraptions and getting blood all over their arm.
Cutting the heck out of you. Yeah, I've been there, done that.
Just to do a simple process so we can take hours off the job. At ADS, we know that if we can remove time off the job, that's more money the technicians in the shops are going to make, allowing them to turn aircraft faster. So if we can save them 80 hours a year, that could be an extra 2 or 3 planes that they're doing a year versus, it's the difference between 5 and 6 planes, 7 planes, which affects their bottom line.
Like that idea. I got to ask, how'd you come up with this?
So one of our customers last year said, these kits you're doing are great. What are you going to do next? And I said, I don't know yet. I haven't even finished this show. So we get back, and Mike was one of our business partners. He's an avionics technician. All of my business partners are either former technicians, current technicians, or own their own repair shops. So we sat down and we're like, what can we do that's going to actually make a difference? What's going to save? It was like, well, I hate tensioning bright a couple clamps. It's just a pain in the butt. So we sat down, we drew it up on a whiteboard. We literally drew it up, and everybody put their input in.
Whiteboard? Everybody uses a napkin. So modern of you.
It was. We still had the beer on the table, though, so let's not knock that off. No, I'm just kidding. But
it is aviation after all.
But we're like, Mike's like, it needs to have a spring-loaded bolt. We have to be able to sink it. And the other guy's like, we need to have a puller on it so we can push and pull. Oh, it has to be installed with one hand. So we try to meet all these criteria to simplify these processes for these guys.
Well, certainly got a lot of attention here. Just a few minutes ago, there's a guy walking up with a credit card, wanted to buy it on the spot. And unfortunately, you can't do this here at the convention, but I imagine come tomorrow, it's going to be a good day.
Oh, yeah. Tomorrow's going to be a really good day. My accountant should be very happy and very busy, so at least she's earning her pay that day. So,
where did ADS come from? How did this come to be?
All right. So, at the end of the Orlando AEA in 2023, I was at dinner with Mike, Brian Yablon is one of our partners, Michelle and Jason Kubiak is another one of our partners, and we were kind of just discussing where the shortfalls are coming due to, especially with all of the, the difficulty it is to find new technicians. And we were talking about all the unbilled hours. So Brian's like, Jeremy, just too bad you can't sell time. I said, well, why not? And from there, we started talking about our autopilot kits, which we then put in the hands of Edmo. Let Edmo get it out there into the hands of those guys. We have the work order management software, Amy, that I've been pushing for, going on 8 years now. Then we started doing the engineering side. So, okay, shops don't have time to do engineering or they're not billing for it. So let us take that burden. And then now we've got the tool. So everything that we do in the business is to sell time to the shops, because that's one thing that they don't ever have enough of. You talk to guys who are doing the prints. Oh yeah, I'll work on the plane all day, and then I'm working 4 hours extra at night to work on the prints. Are you charging for that? No. Oh, I'm going to spend, 8-10 hours putting this hardware kit together. Are you charging for it? No. Well, why not? Yeah. What if we can give you something that's going to make your life easier and not some tchotchke that you have to go try to push and resell to your customer?
Interesting. In regards to autopilot kits, who are you supporting?
Right now we're supporting Garmin, so it's all the GFC 500 and 600 autopilots. We have a kit for every airframe on their AML. Each kit is broke out and individually labeled. They're all serialized. They're broke out by the option of, this is the base hardware, this is the servo hardware, here's the ground stud stack up for the servos. So we're including all the bottle rockets, all the ring terminals, all that stuff. And then we serialize it. So by serializing it, if any shop needs the trace, all the paperwork, they call us up, they give us a serial number of their kit, and then we'll send them a file with all the certs that we have on file for that particular kit. So
nothing like keeping it simple.
Nothing like keeping it simple. That's kind of the name of the game. So we make it easy for these guys.
Well, especially when you're trying to assemble a list of components and this, that, and the other. Do you have this? Do you have that? Where's the right head and thermostat and the whole 9 yards? Get one box, here it comes, off you go. Yeah, that's where time is really money.
Well, we even simplify the process by even linking each kit to the Garmin addendum number. So it's impossible to order the wrong one. If you got your drawing that you're doing, there's the addendum number. Oh, there's the kit for it. That's it, I'm done.
Outstanding. Tell me about this device.
I'm going to let Mike step in.
There we go. How's Mike sitting in the background here? Mike Selman, thanks so much for spending time with us here on Aero-News. A lot of people talking about this. Why?
Well, thanks for coming, Jim. Real happy to showcase our new AT-AT 1100 Walker. This is a game changer, right? There's been a lot of debate and talk back and forth about how to help shops run more efficiently, and that's our bread and butter here at Aviation Design and Supply. And one of the things that always kept coming up was adjusting this bridle cable tension. That's a really, really big, important thing when you're installing an autopilot. And let's say you go out on a test flight and you have something go wrong or it's not performing like it should. The first question that tech support will ask when you call them up at Garmin, Avionics, is what's your bridle cable tension? Right? It tends to be wrong, and the reason for that is because there's so many different ways to adjust your bridle cable tension. A lot of them are very rudimentary. They're designed in-house. They're thought up by the techs, and it works for them, but it's not great. It's not ideal. So what we decided to do was we decided to eliminate all the problems that we had heard over the last few months about what they have to do to overcome that issue. So we locked ourselves in the room with a whiteboard and drew out solutions and solutions to problems that a lot of guys had, and we built it all out into a single thing. So what I'd like to do is kind of show you how this works. And
I was hoping you would.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So
more toys.
The kit does come in a set of 4, and the reason for that is each of these clamp bodies are different sizes, right, for your different cables.
All right.
And there's 2 channels for each one, and I'll get to that in a second. But so what we'll do here is go ahead and take this off. So here's how it'll come, right? And we're getting ready to adjust a bridle cable here, right? I've snugged it up a little bit. I'm getting ready to install it. Our instruction manual that comes with the kit does have a little cheat sheet, and these are all Garmin. This is every Garmin bridle cable clamp by part number. If you're working on that addendum and you're installing the bridle cable clamp, you already know what part number that you're working with. So for example, here's a 30-01, and on my cheat sheet I have the 30-01 bridle cable clamp. The clamp head is going to be the 125, and these are all numbered by the cable size. So I go ahead and I pick that one out, and then pin position 2. The pin position here is because on our Walker there are 3 pin positions, if you can see it right there, and that covers the different lengths of your bridle cable size. This is meant to straddle your bridle cable, allowing you to push and pull and walk the tension in precisely to where you need it to be. So we're going with pin position 2 today for that particular bridle cable clamp, all right? So we put that pin in there, and now we're all set up. Now I mentioned the spring-loaded bolt. The spring-loaded bolt is our answer to preventing the need to assemble this on your cable assembly, and also is critical for your single-handed operation. Many times these bridle cable clamps are way back in a tail boom, or they're hidden behind an inspection cover inside the wing, and it's really hard to get the 3 hands in there that you need to adjust your bridle cable clamps. We've eliminated all of that, Jim. So here's what we're gonna do. So I'm simply just gonna lay this over my bridle assembly with that spring-loaded bolt. I'm gonna push that in, and I'm going to let go, and now my bridle cable, my Walker, is held in place with that spring. I did that with one hand. Now I can come over here with my tools and I can cinch down my cable, or my clamp, excuse me. Once I've got that cinched down, now I can put my tensiometer on there, all right? Once I'm tightened down, I then simply turn this bolt and I walk that bridle cable back to get my proper tension, right? So we'll go, and once we're good there, we're hands-free. Now I've got the right tension, or I'm a little bit higher, because a lot of times with certain clamps like this, you may have to give it a few extra pounds. Once you take it off, it releases some tension, it relaxes, right? But it really, really helps you really dial in that.
Especially if it's a fresh cable.
That's right, that's right. So once we're done there, now we tighten down our bridle cable clamp. I loosen my clamp, and then again, I'm off and I'm done. That's it. So many folks that I've talked to during the show, I must have heard at least a dozen different ways to do what we just did, right? All the rudimentary things, yanking on this and holding down with a thing and taking a screwdriver and pulling it back. So everybody that we've talked to was just blown away by how we were able to fix all those solutions. So we're very excited to have this for the AEA membership and shops all over the country. It's available now on sale on our website.
Just not today.
Just not today. You can order it today. We can't, yeah, unfortunately we can't do that.
No, I love watching people come up, see something, recognize it, and go, yeah, want.
Yep.
And
yeah, we've got a lot of that this year.
Very good. So within the spectrum of the industry right now, we're watching Avionics continue to grow. We're, of course, watching Washington like a hawk right now. What's your thoughts about how you fit in, everything here, what you're seeing, and your feeling about being a part of the avionics industry right now? What are you learning from it, being here?
You know, there's a general consensus that there is an absolute technician shortage in the industry, and everybody's looking for different ways to combat that. Nobody has the one answer, and there is no one single answer. So there's a lot of companies that are doing their part to answer that question. How can we fix that issue, right? AEA is doing amazing things with their workforce development. Nick Brown is doing fantastic things at that department over there with the AEA. And
I keep hearing Nick's name coming up and up and up, so there you go.
He's a fantastic guy. He's a fellow veteran, and that's a soft spot for me. So
same here.
Anything I can do, appreciate your service. Anything that we can do to really grab the attention of the talent that's coming out and transitioning military, we're going to do that. What we're doing here at ADS is we are helping those shops that are in the here and now that have that problem of the technician shortage, and we're just making their jobs easier. With the autopilot kits, we're saving them time by grabbing all of those parts, right? We can save them 4, 8, sometimes 10 hours grabbing all those parts and just reducing that to a single line item. That saves a ton of time. That's not one person out of way doing all that stuff. With our AT-AT Walker, what we're doing is we're making a process much simpler in the aircraft and making it less cumbersome, right? So it's maybe a little more fun getting in there. With our engineering prints, right? We're saving time of the shop owner who's running very lean, running a skeleton crew, has to run a shop, has to do installs, and then at the end of the day, he's got to go back and do engineering prints. So that's another service that we provide. Our chief customer is the shops that are walking around this show today, and we sell that time and we provide that. So I think that we are combating the technician shortage by making the shop's lives so much easier.
I actually heard a story yesterday from a guy who's running into tech shortage, right? He started 2023 out with 5 or 6 techs. He's down to 3. But he uses the software. He buys our kits from Edmo. He just bought 2 of these, and he uses our kit services. He said, look, if it wasn't for you, I would be screwed right now. But because of the services that you're adding, I've been able to do more with the guys that I have and be able to pay my guys more money now. So I don't have to worry about hunting these down because we're more efficient, we're more lean, we're turning aircraft faster, and we're all making more money. So I mean, that made me feel really good when he said that.
Well, for a company that had its genesis in 2023, which was like a couple days ago, you guys have been on the fast track for a while. Between 23 and 25, what changes are you seeing in the industry, and how do they affect you?
Well, we're not affected as much as some of the shops are as far as labor goes, because we're more of a manufacturer than an avionics shop. So we can actually bring unskilled folks in, train them, and get them on, which is one of the reasons why we have the daycare. Because when we bring trained folks in, we don't want to lose anybody because they have to go pay for daycares. We've invested money into them.
You're providing daycare?
Yeah, we provide daycare for employees who can't afford daycare. They can bring them to work. We have somebody watch them. They read books. They do learning exercises, and they can go have lunch with their kids if they want in the building. So the kids are right there. They don't have to worry about it.
Well, that's one way to keep staff.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're happy. But that's how we do. We do things within our industry, within our building, to retain employee loyalty. What can we do to keep our employees happy? Because turnover costs too much money. You know, why do I want to...
Preaching to the choir, my friend.
You know, why do I want to go pay somebody and invest in training for them to work 6 months and then quit? So when I invest in an employee, I want to make sure they stay long term, and we're giving them a job skill that they can take on somewhere else down the road.
Well, here's a big question. Ready? What's next for ADS?
I will tell you next year. You'll see another cartoon, MPI, that'll wake everybody up in the middle of the show, and then we'll have this conversation again.
We'll be there to shoot it live. I can't wait to see what you come up with next. And
there's a couple of things already cooking, but I don't let the cat out of the bag just yet.
I'll tell you what, we're happy to see innovation continue in this industry on small and much larger scales. It all molds together. Gentlemen, where can people get more information on both your product line and your services?
Go to aviationdesignsupply.com. It's got a full list of all of our capabilities. All the hardware kits are listed there, so they can look them up, find out what's there, then transfer over to Edmo or the other distributors to be able to purchase. They can learn more about the hardware kits, learn more about our software system, AMEMX, and our engineering solutions.
Mike, final question.
Sir.
Having a good time?
I'm having a blast.
Isn't this cool out here?
I love it.
It's funny, we go to a lot of shows. I mean, we do Oshkosh, the big Kahuna there. The next one's going to be my 52nd, so, you know, big, cool, and so forth.
Sure.
Sun and fun, we love it, great, so forth and so on, but I can't think of any community within aviation that is as well run, as tightly organized, and where the community is as intact as the avionics community. It's why we love being here.
I couldn't agree more. This is definitely a reunion for a lot of the guys that I don't get to see regularly throughout the year. So coming back and catching up with old friends and seeing how they're doing, how their companies are coming along, getting face to face with our partners every day, all of our shops that we deal with. It really is it's a battery recharge every year when we come out to AEA and all the regionals and all the great things AEA is doing.
So long as we all survive the first night or party.
No kidding, no doubt.
Alrighty, gentlemen, thanks for spending some time with Aero-News, especially with our live audience, and we look forward to seeing what you come up with next year. But in the meantime, anything new comes up in between, be sure to shoot a press release and let us know. We appreciate it. Alrighty, folks, we're going to take a little bit of a break here. As you can see, we're playing a little bit with some remote capabilities that we started using yesterday to provide B-roll while we were doing the interviews up on the stage, and we'll be returning to the stage in a moment. But like everybody here, we're trying to push the envelope a little bit, and we're having a lot of fun with it, and the best part is the equipment now is starting to get to the point where we can depend on it as far as remote goes. So you'll see more of this in the future. In the meantime, we're going to take a quick break. We will be right back. Since I'm not at my desk, I have no clue who's next, but we'll be there in just a few moments. Live from the 68th Annual AEA Convention and Trade Show at the Phoenix Convention Center, this is Aero-News. We'll be right back.
Aero-News Network's coverage of the 68th Annual AEA International Convention and Trade Show, live from Phoenix, Arizona, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
Looking for a new generation of proven and efficient aviation power plants that boast modern engineering, electronic ignition, and both direct and gear drive systems? With 100 horsepower to 240 horsepower, the Skyline and Redline engines offer uncommon value in an overpriced industry. Whether you are looking for fixed wing or rotor, MW Fly Americas has been established to service the American market with dedication and expertise. MWFlyAmericas.com.
Meet the first of a new generation of the M-Class family. The M700 Fury. An aircraft worthy of the name, an indomitable force. The M700 Fury transcends traditional limits with more power, blistering performance, a finely appointed interior, and the luxury of what matters most. Time. Experience the Fury. Join the legacy.
For over 30 years, the massive Sport Plane Resource Guide has provided expert, credible information, evaluations, and critical analysis of all that the sport aviation world has to offer. The all-new digital Sport Plane Resource Guide is coming with extensive multimedia features that are constantly updated, an even more comprehensive online guide to all things sport aviation. Available soon. www.sportplane.com.
Folks, we're back from our little hike out to the far side of the convention floor. We spent some time with the guys at ADS who had some pretty cool tools. And for somebody who has spent more than enough time ripping his hands apart while tensioning cables and so forth, I kind of like what they have in mind over there. It's pretty cool. However, let's get back to the electronic part of the game. And we have Greg Ledbetter from PS Engineering, who is the CEO since Mark's kind of stepping back and living life and so forth and so on. And about bloody time, he's been at this for a long time.
He has, he sure has, and I appreciate he puts the faith into me to help lead the company. Mark's not going anywhere. Mark's still the president and founder, and he's helping me adjust to the new position. So I really appreciate that.
Well, it's quite a responsibility, and you're following a good lead. So there you go.
That's a fact.
So, what's new at PS Engineering? Let's get to the good stuff.
So what's new at PS Engineering? So on Tuesday, Peter Campbell, our VP of Engineering, did our MPI, and we've come out with a new business aviation audio system called the PAC-37. So the PAC-37 is designed to be a plug-and-play replacement to the old Baker 1045 systems. So the ones that were very commonly used in Gulfstreams, Falcon Jets, and Bombardiers. It allows you to unplug the audio system and plug in a new digital system, which gets packed full of functionality for the aircraft.
Excellent.
Yep. Some of the new functions on it that we've added, it is a fully intercom station stereo with IntelliVox and auto squelch. It has 6 COM ports, 10 switched inputs. It also has the ability to have HRTF, which is our dimensional sound. Also, if you want to wire the headsets to stereo, we have a separate connector that comes out of the system. The old Baker systems were all mono, so you couldn't add the stereo to it, but this one you can. It also has the support for the A&R power headsets. So if you want to connect a Bose to it, we actually provide the power for the Bose headset.
Okay.
It has Bluetooth, so you can pair your phone up, stream audio, also make phone calls from the audio system. You can install it as a single box, or dual box, or up to 3 control heads can be installed in the aircraft.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's 5 pounds in a 2-pound bag.
It is. It is. And as you notice, the front of it, we try to keep the functionality and the looks the same so the pilots don't have to be retrained on the operation of the audio system. We want to make it as simple as possible. The main thing is the avionics time. Traditionally with avionics systems, if you're going to the digital, you have to take the old system out, get all the wiring out. We're trying to use the existing wiring in the aircraft. The nice part about this PAC-37, it does currently support the 61 pin, but we are coming out with other versions for a 71, 74, 79, depending on what the aircraft is. So all the customer has to do is reach out to PS Engineering. We'll ask a few questions and we'll try to come up with a plan for their aircraft.
Well, there you go. How long have you been working on this project?
It started probably 8 months ago. We just received TSO on it on January 31st. We have sent a few systems out for testing in the field, getting some great feedback, and we should be able to ship it probably middle to the end of April. That's the goal.
Outstanding.
Uh-huh.
Beautiful looking box.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
More important, it's all about form factor, because boy, having to redo anything on a panel, especially when you start getting into biz jets, that's a bear. That's serious money.
Yep, and we have we came out with a digital platform on the Pack 45 series for that, but we kind of wanted to grow with that and be able to have a plug and play replacement. Also, on Tuesday, Peter released the release of the CTL-G COM expander. So the COM expander, which will be shipping probably third quarter of this year, it allows you to keep the factory audio system as is, and you'll be able to add tactical radios to the factory audio system.
Okay.
So traditionally, with some of these special mission aircraft, they go in and they pull out everything the factory put in and rewire everything. We know how labor intensive that is and the cost of that. So the COM expander will be able to add a FM, you can have up to 6 FM comms to it. It'll have an intercom station, and it ties into the existing audio system of the aircraft. You can also add a cabin location. So if you have, for law enforcement, if you have 2 pilots and then a TFO in the back, you'll be able to have a station in the back for him too.
Boy, thought of everything.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Yeah. It's going to be a small package. It's going to be 1.13 inches tall. It'll also support USB charging port. It'll have a HRTF dimensional sound. It'll have 4 unswitched inputs and some other audio functionality.
Well, these are new directions, or at least new emphasis would probably be a better word for it, for PS Engineering. You guys have done such great work in GA. Of course, GA is crazy competitive, crazy period, and of course the rip-off and duplicate factor out there is not to be denied. So pushing into these other markets is one way to guarantee the health of the company. How is that part of the community responding?
Well, I think a lot of this, what pushed us to doing some other things is our customers. They were reaching out, wanting us, saying, hey, we've used your products for years in general aviation and other platforms. Can you do this? And so that it started back in 2017 with the Pack 45 series, and it just keeps growing from here. What originally started the Pack 37 was a couple of OEMs saying, hey, we have these legacy aircraft and we want an opportunity to be able to replace the audio system. So that got the wheels of motion going, and here we are. So
the R&D process in the company has to be interesting, and of course now, especially since you've had some critical people retire and head on out. So training, planning, researching, and so forth has to be just a bear these days. How are you handling it?
Well, we have great staff. I mean, we got a great engineering team. Mark has put together, I can't imagine a really better team for avionics manufacturing that you could have. So pretty much the staff have 20 or 30 years of experience. He gives us all good guidance. He gives us free rein to do research and development. We've got a lot of avionics shops and MROs that have come out and helped us when we ask. They will give us as much information as possible about an airframe, and so we follow up with that, and then that's kind of how we go. So I mean, we're not scared to try new projects and do new things. Our GA is still going well. This just kind of adds on to what we do.
Excellent. Well, special missions, that covers a variety of sins, and almost every single installation is going to have its own unique requirements and aspects. So at this point, you're going to be taking on something of a custom shop attitude about a lot of these installations.
We do.
That's a lot of work. How do you handle it?
It's really not. We actually have, on our website, we have the ability to go through, we have a questionnaire.
Okay.
So we send the questionnaire to either the avionics shop or the customer. It asks about 20 or 30 basic questions about the audio system, what they need it to do, and then we just follow their direction. And then from there, we have custom decaling that we send them a drawing on. They just fill out what they want. We copy it. We have a built-in laser machine at the factory, and we just made it up what they have. So it's not that, it hasn't been that bad. And we primarily deal with law enforcement, EMS, and forestry, and we pretty much know now what each division requires for their audio system. So we pretty much, if it's an EMS or law enforcement, they want NVG. You know, if it's law enforcement, they prefer simulcast and transmit relay. If it's EMS, it's going to be 2 control aids. So we've learned a lot over the years of what basic installation of each one of these aircraft are, and so we have a pretty good understanding before it ever gets started.
I'll bet it's got to be educational. Those communities, especially mission communities, have really intriguing people in it because it's not a run-of-the-mill job.
Right.
The requirements are intense.
They are.
And of course, the aircraft just get beat to a frazzle. So hard to keep up with all that.
Yeah. Mark and I had a discussion the other day. The shops that we deal with in special mission are probably some of the elite shops in the world. We rarely ever get a technical phone call about installation ever. I mean, it's just amazing because they are complex systems. They are fully digital systems. There's well over 100 wires going to these audio systems, but the people that are putting them are very, very professional. And they're the best. We get more phone calls on intercoms than we would on a digital audio system. So yeah, we laugh the same way. But it's just amazing how well these shops have, they're the best of the best, and their attitude is, hey, there's a problem with the install, not the equipment, and that's great. It's been great.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
One of the themes that has been discussed in a number of the conversations we've had over the last few days has been the state of hiring, training, and of course qualifying people along the way in different job regimes. How's that going for you, and what do you think about the industry right now and the way it's tackling those topics?
Right. So and as you mentioned that, so PS Engineering has been hiring a few new technicians in the last few months. Once Gary retired, Gary was our VP of Quality Systems.
Gary.
We miss Gary. Gary was a great asset. But he was our VP of Quality Systems and also our Accountability Manager. We have promoted an employee who's been with us for 5 years. Lucas Smith is now our VP of Quality and Accountability Manager. Randy Beavers has been with the company for 37 years, is now our VP of Operations. So they are kind of overseeing all of our manufacturing now, all of our training, and that kind of keeps us all in line. And then there's accountability. You've got to have accountability for everybody. So luckily for us, we have just a very strong manufacturing staff. Probably the average age is 16, 18 years, and that helps with the training.
Well, I'll tell you, when you can hold people that long, you're doing something right.
And we are, because it's a great company. I mean, it's a great company. It's 100% American made. I had a training class this morning, and I think everybody applauded when I said American made. So that's a big deal.
Well, thankfully, that's become more and more in vogue in light of the current political reality. We'll see if it lasts. I hope it does. Your thoughts on AEA's movement in regards to certification and training programs?
Yeah, I like
AECT.
it. Yeah, I like it. I saw that being introduced in the MPI. I think that'll help grow and allow more avionics shops to bring in new talent and to retain talent. That's always a concern. I mean, a lot of these avionics shops, the owners and the head techs are aging out, and we've got to bring some new blood in, so that is important.
Well, it's been a constant theme here. Everybody's having issues hiring. It's hard enough to find people, and then finding people that last, and then of course the issue that comes down the line is how do you train them to begin with for the roles that are they're taking on. And I'm glad to see the industry taking it on the way it is, because quite frankly, the quality of work here in this community pretty much drives aviation as much as any other aspect.
Right.
I can't think of any aspect of aviation that has seen the upgrades and the modernization versus what they've done in airframes or power plants and the like. Avionics has been driving aviation for quite a while now, so more power to them.
Keeps a lot of avionics shops in business.
Amen. Well, there you go.
Yep.
At this point, what's in the future for PS Engineering? Where do you go from here?
Right, so this is the beginning platform for a business aviation.
There we go.
We're going to have more opportunities for different airframes and different audio systems that are out there. So definitely that's got a lot of room for growth. We're excited about that. Also during our NPI, we've added some new capability to our Hub 50, our Hub 50 digital audio system, which is an iPhone app controlled audio system. We came out with an EMS version. We worked with some of our EMS operators and we gave them some functionality like a patient on-off switch, a heartbeat Doppler audio input, a flight nurse cabin call, and also a co-pilot training mode. So whenever the aircraft's not being used for mission work, they can take the stretcher out, put the co-pilot seat back, and now the co-pilot and pilot can train during non-mission flights. So we had the EMS version. We also come out with a law enforcement version of the CTL 45J with the Hub 50 that has simulcast and then transmit relay. So we're going to continue to build on that platform. Business aviation definitely will grow. We're still, doing some concept ideas for GA. So yeah, we're still doing some cool stuff.
Well, your GA gear that I've used has been exceptional.
Thank you.
I've just had a ball with it.
Thank you. We hear that a lot.
And I guarantee you, my next airplane, the next time I get things settled in, figure out how I'm going to do the panel, because I get airplanes that need a little bit of work so I can customize them my way.
Sure.
And I've had your audio panels in every single one of them in the last couple of rounds, so that tells you something right there. But good work in that regard.
Well, thank you.
How can people get more information about PS Engineering?
Well, yep. So you can go to our website, ps-engineering.com or aircraftaudio.com. We're here at the show, booth 331.
There you go. Well, Greg, I can't thank you enough for spending a little time with us. And while we're here, hi, Mark. You know he's watching.
Yep.
But we'll see you at Sun and Fun, Mark. At any rate, we are going to take a short break. We've got sites coming up here in a moment. We're going to start talking about fuel levels and fuel senders and the like, followed by Jim Turner at Kelly. They've got some really interesting items. One of our favorites, Alex Kerner from Tristar Technologies, who not something you're going to see much out in the industry, but those who use it swear by it. Jeff Unger from Astronics. We've got Collins Aerospace on deck later in the day, and we will be finishing up with Mike Adamson, the boss at AEA. So it's going to be a jam-packed couple of hours here. We'll see you in just a few moments. We are live from the 68th Annual AEA Convention and Trade Show at the Phoenix Convention Center. This is the Aero-News Network. And we're back. Sorry guys, told you we were coming back. You're not gonna miss us that easily. We are live from the 68th Annual AEA Convention and Trade Show at the Phoenix Convention Center. It's our third day of live coverage of this august event. We're thrilled to be here. We've been doing this the better part of 20 years. Working with this crew and this organization and this industry is one of the high points of our year, and that's even when you pile it up against Oshkosh and Sun and Fun and the rest. It's a great place to be if you love aviation, if you love technology, and you love people doing good things for a community that matters. Okay, let's talk SICE. Scott Philbin, President, the boss, Grand Poobah.
Yeah.
Let's start talking about what you guys are up to lately, because every time I turn around, you got something new. Scott, what's new?
We do have several new things. We recently got the contract with Textron, so we're supplying Textron for all the propeller aircraft except for the new, what do they call the Sky Courier?
Sky Courier.
Yeah. So Textron will be handling that. That's a significant piece for us. We'd worked on it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It incorporated a CAN bus interface, and so unbeknownst to a lot of aviation, the FAA mandated better fuel quantity in GA for from about 2005 on, because they wanted to avoid the catastrophic arcs and sparks in fuel tanks after the TWA 800 accident. Textron chose a technology by Meggitt, time domain reflectometry, basically sending a high frequency signal down a coaxial line. It was effective, it was accurate, but not failure prone, or not failure adverse.
Mm-hmm.
And so the only manufacturer that took up that product line was Textron, and then we just had the opportunity to replace it. So aircraft that are now out in the field, mostly in the training fleet, 172s, who've had difficulty obtaining this, now have a solution, but contact your Cessna parts specialist to get that. That was a significant impact. I can't say who it was, but you can probably guess. We had the opportunity to be applied to a mothership for a spacecraft. Don't know who that spacecraft, billionaires just seem to let it go to space. It's one of them.
Well, they get bored so easily.
Yeah, they get bored so easily. And they found that our technology was the most accurate fuel quantity system, even for a large Jet A aircraft, as a mothership would be determined. And we had a lot of fun at their facility, and we got to ride into space in a simulated way. And while I have been in this industry a long time, I will tell you, Jim, that that was, even though it was a simulator ride, that space ride was transformational.
Excellent. Well, they're doing some amazing work out there. As you were aware, I was involved with X-Prize way back when, and a couple decades back, and so I've watched that product mature and go through its stumbles and pick itself up and go ahead and do amazing things. So it's wonderful to see it grow.
I was preparing for, I make a presentation here at the show to Avionics technicians about our product line and best practices and issues and problems that they find out in the field. And was having, try to keep it light. I had jokes created by ChatGPT in the form of Bill Burr, which were hilarious. Maybe I'll even share one today. But the other one that I did, and I've been waiting for a long time, was, have we made an impact in aviation safety? And you can't tell, from day one if you do. You think you're making a significant impact. But it's getting to be 10 years since we started offering our product line in the aftermarket, and we have 150 to 160,000 fuel senders in the field, which is a significant number. But we're covering maybe 5 to 6% of the worldwide fleet at the moment. The graphical illustration of fuel level accidents from 2017 when we first introduced that to now is very impactful.
Excellent.
It literally, if we had the whole fleet, it would literally fall off the page. So I know that my employees feel like they're making an impact to aviation safety, but it's really, it proves out our statement if pilots are given good information, including good information from fuel level, pilots make good decisions.
What drew you to this particular problem? I mean, everybody has something that cued them into, okay, this is a line of research I want to get into, this is a product I want to develop, this is something I want to do for the industry. For Alan Klappmeyer, it was having a mid-air, and next thing you know, he wants to have parachutes in his airplanes. What was it for you?
Funny you should mention Alan. It really was Cirrus. I had another company in aviation. I did a lot of work with Cirrus on their oxygen system, and for whatever reasons, or many good reasons, it was time for me to leave that entity. And Cirrus reached out to me personally and asked me, did I want to do something about fuel quantity? And
was that Alan?
No, it was Pat Waddick and Gary Polma.
Okay.
Both very long-term Cirrus employees, and they postulated that question to me: could I do something? And they had asked. They kind of floated the idea by me before, but I was, singularly underemployed at the time, and
been there, done that.
Yeah, and I said, well, let me take a look at it. Let me take a look at the problem. Let me take a look at the thing, and that's how it started. But getting and they kind of knew me, so I delved into it, jumped in with both feet. We built a plexiglass tank for a boat, and we went riding around the lakes and evaluated different technologies, and really coalesced on the technology that we have, which has been great. And it's actually great, the future concern for pilots in our community is the viability of 100 low lead into the future. And we're part of that Eagle committee because literally we're immersed in fuel.
Literally?
literally immersed in fuel. So we're validating materials compatibility, as you would imagine, but also several of the measurement techniques that have been used classically are not going to be viable into the future.
Really?
Yeah, capacitance. As we could delve down the world of combustion kinetics, but that's more, there are better experts to talk about that, but basically we're changing the fuel chemistry. And the molecules that are typically used to increase octane are referred to as aromatics, and they're ring molecules. They're toluene, which we're all familiar with, and xylene, which is an element of Gammy's fuel. Or I can't remember what the other. It's another aromatic in that group, and they're octane enhancers because they're ring molecules. They tend to bind together and hold together at the flame front before they actually open up and burn, basically, and that's why they increase knock resistance. But they're also polar molecules, and so if we remember our middle school chemistry.
Well, some of us remember our
middle school chemistry. Polar molecules like water, the universal solvent, are really good because they're able to attract other molecules to them and carry them away through an electrical charge process. Well, if you're using capacitance, which is an electrical charge process, and you throw more polar molecules into it, you tend to get a higher flow of electrons from one terminal plate to another. And so there will be technologies we have used in the past to measure fuel, avgas specifically, that will not be applicable to the modern fuels, and more importantly, to mixtures of the modern fuels. Everybody wants to have this easy transition as we go from as we go from 100 low lead anyway to mixtures. These fungible, as George Brawley is fond of saying, these fungible mixtures of fuel is going to give you variable outputs. And so, yeah, there's opportunities to calibrate them for new fuel, but mixtures is a challenge.
Interesting.
So,
well, it's going to be, next couple of years is going to be highly variable. I guess that's the best way I could put it. There's going to be a lot of interesting permutations coming up as we finally get around to both completion of the various standards necessary and then industry acceptance, and of course the big bugaboo, distribution.
Right.
So it's
and use. But you know, the fact, I think people should be comforted is that, you know, there's a lot, in the words of Indiana Jones, there's top people working on it in government offices. You know, the one good thing, and you're well aware of, is that we're all very concerned and very careful. We might have fun, but we're all very careful and concerned when it comes to things that involve pilots and aircraft and safety. That's a watchword for this industry. It keeps us all honest, but there are good people.
It's also got to be satisfying from your standpoint, knowing that ultimately there are people walking around that wouldn't have been because of the products that you've developed.
Yes.
Because way too many times an indication is wrong, or it's utilized in a gauge that is not very explanatory or very easy to read, based often on the probes that are sending the data. So having solid access to real information at every stage of flight is the one thing that can keep people out of trouble, or a thing that can keep people out of trouble.
It's true. It's funny because, you know, you make a presentation, as I did this morning, on, you know, something as relatively benign as fuel quantity, and so like any presentation, you want to throw a little comedy in it. And you know, as we were done with our graphics, we went, oh, we got to throw a few jokes out there, and we availed ourselves to the use of AI, and I said, well, let's give us an aviation joke in the style of Chris Rock, and it was a you know, aviation fuel quantity is kind of like your bank account. You kind of hope there's more in there, but deep down inside, you really know.
I like that. That's
deep down inside.
Horribly accurate to a number of times in the past, that's for sure. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we were busting up. We were like, oh, let's do it in the style of Bill Barr, and it was, you know, your aircraft fuel gauges are kind of like a drunk at a trivia night, shouting out answers.
There you go. So what's next for you? What can we expect from the innovative process at SAIS?
I believe we found an opportunity last year, and I probably maybe alluded to it, but now I have the patent filed. We know we own fuel quantity in every major aircraft manufacturer, with the exception of Piper Aircraft, if you're listening, throughout the world. So we have, you know, these sensor locations distributed throughout every wing for every new aircraft produced in the world. We noticed that I can tell how good a pilot you are by fuel motion and local acceleration, because we have an accelerometer on board each location, so that I could actually provides a warning that you're exceeding a pilot envelope, especially low, slow, close to the ground, you know, where fatal accidents are most likely to occur. And then based on your your comment about, who else, what else could I do in aviation from a safety standpoint? And I really think that if I can get this product through, we can really enhance the element of safety in aviation in a very dramatic way. Unbeknownst to a lot of people, we also build the haptics or the stick shaker for Cirrus. So it's not very far off from us and our ability to actually go in and look at providing some sort of haptic to a pilot, not necessarily a stall warning, but hey buddy, you're a little too close to the...
Pay attention.
Pay attention.
Pay attention.
So that's where I think we're going. Pretty certain.
Well, we wish you nothing but the best. And more important, we wish you lots of future innovation, because quite frankly, it's this kind of innovation that ultimately makes my sojourn every morning where I have to look at accident reports a shorter experience. And boy, nothing is more desired than that. So good on you. Scott, where can people get more information on your programs, products, and future?
Our website is continually updated. It's www.sicecorp.net. And that usually keeps our latest information. We are active on social media. We have a Facebook presence, we have an Instagram presence, but really mostly our website is the source of most of the information that we do. And if you're an OEM or you have an interest in what we're doing on the side, whether it's a throttle for Diamond or make sure I can say what I'm working on, but other sort of products where angular measurement is important, please give us a call.
There you go. Scott Philibin of SICE. Once again, thanks for joining us here on Aero-News. We're going to take a short break here and put Jim Turner from Kelly Manufacturing on deck. We will be right back in a few minutes, but before we go, I want to remind everybody that in just a few short days, the Aero-News team, and that means all of them, and I mean everybody, is venturing to Lakeland, Florida to become part of the conflagration, if you will, the phenomenal explosion of talent and aviation that Sun & Fun represents. We are their media partner. We are pleased to be so. We've been for a number of years, and I guarantee you we got plans that will make sure that at Sun & Fun, outside of Sun & Fun, before, during, and after, we've got it covered. Nobody will cover Sun & Fun like we do, and here's a few of the reasons why. We'll be right back in just a few moments live from the 68th Annual Aviation Convention and Trade Show at the Phoenix Convention Center. Be right back.
Let's get real. The amazing Sun & Fun Aerospace Expo is a top-notch event, and it deserves top-notch, world-class media coverage. No one else covers Sun & Fun like the award-winning Aero-News network. Kicking things off on Monday, March 31st, we will live broadcast aviation's greatest press conference, the Sun & Fun Innovation Preview, where 24 industry-changing companies will present their innovations to the world for the very first time. Catch it live with us at airborne-live.net. Then each morning of the show at 0900, we bring you the Sun & Fun Morning Brief, live from our studio in Lakeland, with a 30-minute rundown of weather, airshow updates, sights to see, and exclusive interviews. Catch it live every morning at airborne-live.net. Every day of the show, the Sun & Fun Digital Daily website will deliver dozens of videos and stories detailing the people, planes, and products shaping this year's event. Keep updated daily at snfdd.com. And then keep an eye out each evening for Airborne, hosted by yours truly. Airborne is the aviation world's first and best daily video news program, and we'll be bringing you the sights, sounds, and excitement of Sun & Fun right from the heart of the action. Catch it in the evenings at airbornetv.net. Throughout the week, ANN's video teams and feature hosts conduct dozens of interviews, features, and video shorts. If there's a story, we're telling it. Catch it daily at airbornetv.net. And last but not least, Saturday, we bring you Saturday Flight Live, where Aero-News will bring you live coverage of Sun & Fun's thrilling day and night air shows. This is something you don't want to miss. And there you have it, unmatched live coverage and exclusive content archived for viewing after the show, all produced by a team known for expertise, integrity, and a passion for aviation. Because no one does Sun & Fun like Aero-News.
folks, we are back live at the 68th Annual AEA Convention and Trade Show from the Phoenix Convention Center. Really good location, by the way. I initially didn't really feel that thrilled about the long trip from Jacksonville, which is about 2,000 miles. But to be perfectly honest, it's a good convention center, nice location, and the restaurant scene around here has been pretty good, so the crew's been having a ball. But let's get back to business. We have Jim Turner, General Manager, Kelly Manufacturing. Jim, what you up to lately besides no good?
Oh, well, just causing a lot of trouble.
Well, I please, seriously.
Yes, we've been in business since the 40s making products for the military and different things like this. And of course, everybody knows us from our mechanical products. And you and I talked many years ago, and we came out with some digital units to replace the old mechanical units that we have. And we've gone from making a digital attitude indicator to making a digital directional gyro to now a mini 6, which basically gives you a full 6-pack. Nice thing about our products is they're all TSO'd, which makes it real easy for us to get them installed in aircraft. And we'd like to introduce our new turn and bank indicator, and it's a turn and bank indicator as well as a turn coordinator.
All right.
And that's what's kind of different with us. You can actually, since it's digital, you can switch from one to the other without having to shut your plane down or do something with it. So it gives everybody an idea as to how they fly. The product's name is the RCA 8310.
Okay.
But it also ties into legacy autopilots. That's the nice thing. With the old mechanical units, everybody not making as many as they used to. We, like us as well, we still don't, we make probably a third of what we used to 10 years ago.
Right.
But this is where we came in with the digital units, and it's been very good for us.
That had to be a really tough transition.
It really was. We had a lot of people that work for our company, and it's really kind of interesting that the mother or father worked for our company, then their children have worked for our companies, and now we got grandchildren working for the companies. All my kids have worked there. Basically everybody that's there, they've got legacy involved in it. As we know, the mechanical units, it's getting harder and harder to get those worked on. And so we still repair our own units. We've gotten away from repairing anybody else's because it's harder to get parts. So we take care of our own products as well as try to stay up with the market, as I said, with the digital units now.
Interesting. What was the R&D process like when you made such a fundamental transition from one technology to the next?
It was very interesting. Everybody said you couldn't do it. It wasn't going to be very easy because...
Yeah, but that's the challenge that makes everybody
That's what it is. Originally, you had to build your own AHRs. There were a couple other companies that had those, and so we bought one to begin with, and then we figured out, well, X, Y, and Z axis, it's great, but your circuit board's going to be twice as big as what it needed to be. And as we kept looking into it, we found that we can develop our own unit doing the same thing out of stock parts. We don't have to have special parts to do our product. So it's very easy, but we have great people that know how to program, and they've been able to go in and program our units to do what they want to do. And the other thing we do is we do everything TSO'd. So we look at what the maximum or the minimum set forth by the FAA, and then we go and try to meet those requirements.
How big a company is this? How's it constructed?
It's pretty much a family-oriented company.
Okay.
When I started, we were probably we had 200 employees, but we had Cessna and Beach in our plant every day picking product up.
Right.
That was the old days.
Yeah.
Then digital, the good old days, yes. And it's really interesting because a lot of people will buy a plane now that has the 6-pack in it, and it's got all of our older instruments in it.
Yeah.
But now we're down to about 45 or 50 people.
Okay.
When you go digital, it changes a lot of things. You don't have to have people that know how to calibrate and all this different things. We had a full machine shop that makes all of our own parts. And we still make a lot of parts for ourselves as well as some other people because we hold 2/10,000ths of an inch on everything we make.
Oh boy.
Because you have to when you're putting 200 parts in a 4x4 box. So, that's where we're at. The new digital stuff, it's this circuitry. We have somebody that makes our own boards for us, 3 boards in each unit, and that was plan for obsolescence. So, and if you want to know what the obsolescence is, we are able to, if you have one circuit board and you have a part go obsolete, you may have to redesign the whole circuit board. Now we have 3 circuit boards, you have one part go obsolete, you still have 2 other circuit boards in there that you don't have to worry too much about. And COVID, I guess, was good to us because we found parts that would match up and work with the old parts and the old programming. Because you had to look at that time during COVID.
There you go. Well, that's one way to get around it,
Yes.
isn't it? Indeed. The industry right now is talking about hiring, training, certifying, getting good tech help out there.
Right.
How's it going for you?
Very tough.
Yeah.
It really is. As I said,
even in the land of aviation?
In the land of aviation, yes. I'm part of the Wichita Manufacturing Association, and I get to work with a lot of the universities and things around getting talent to come to work in Wichita. Our biggest problem right now is the National Institute for Aviation Training at WSU is there, and they used to train people how to do the calibrations and how to set up the older instrumentation. Well, today they said that nobody wants to enter that class, so they've basically taken those classes away.
Oh, no.
So now it's back to us manufacturers to try to train these people.
Oh boy.
So it's been very challenging.
Well, I get us Kelly Manufacturing University, huh?
That's pretty much it. We're at a situation where, as I said, a lot of it is legacy. People have come down and they've worked for us for many years. Their kids come in and work. But we're seeing a lot of that. They're looking for more options anymore. And it just makes it a little tough on the industry itself.
I can believe it.
And we talked to a lot of people from Houston and Texas and California and Florida, and they ask if we have a technician that wants to move in, and they just are not there. But that's where the digital world is taking us.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to look at AEA's new certification and training system?
We've had a little bit of chance to look at that. We've chatted with a couple of the people. I haven't had an opportunity to sit down. We've been very busy at the booth, and I get all those emails, and it's one of these things I just haven't really had time to take a look at it very well.
Well, we're hoping that it drives the industry forward, and especially with the certification angle, being able to put people in the field with some sense of preparation.
Right, and that is what's needed. You know, we can train people how to install product, but once it breaks, you got to have to have somebody that knows what they're doing in order to fix it as well.
I understand. Good grief. So what's in the future?
Well, we are looking at a couple different things. Full digital 6-pack, which would be the 6 units all digital.
Okay.
And we'd be running off of 2 AHRs on that rather than running off every unit having an AHRs.
Okay.
Make it a little simpler. Then those pilots that want to go digital and lose weight, they can do that without a problem. We will do everything certified. That's a good place for us to be. We just need to work on doing the AML STCs on our product so there can be a drop-in replacement. But according to the FAA right now, is if you're replacing a part that's TSO'd with a part that's TSO'd, it should be a drop-in replacement with just a sign-off. We're looking at working with some autopilot people. We have one other project, and it's with some people from SpaceX. And it's going to be a very interesting project, and they'll be announcing something maybe at Sun and Fun. They announced something at the Heli Expo or Verticon last week, and we're in that project with them. They're a standalone company, and they want individual companies to be part of that rather than, I hate to say it, I love the Garmin people, they're great, but they don't want Garmin because Garmin would be doing the same thing they're doing if they tried to do it. So
yeah, no, we're familiar with the R&D standing for rip off and duplicate. So yeah,
yeah,
it's one of those things. What can you do?
Well, that's like my father. He was with King Radio Corporation, and he helped Garmin set up their marketing. I told him, Dad, that just kind of messes me up when you do that. So,
oops.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do to get ahead.
Oh yes.
The overall health of the industry. You've been to a number of these shows.
Yes.
How do you feel the industry's doing right now?
Well, we think it is very strong right now. With all the incidents going on with the airlines, we're hearing more and more of what's going on, but we're seeing more and more younger people learning to fly and are out there. And so there's going to be a change with the FAA. There's going to be a change with a lot of this stuff. I think there's going to be more smaller airports going into some of these bigger areas to accommodate some of the larger corporate jets.
One can only hope.
Yes, yep. Well, it's like Vegas. You have Henderson Airport, and it's very close to the major airport, and a lot of people are flying in there rather than going into the major airport.
There you go. The overall tone of the industry right now, waiting for Washington to figure out how they're going to do business in the future. How is that affecting you?
It's not. We don't even look at. We really don't look at that. We look at the future as what can we do to improve ourselves.
Right.
And as long as we're continually improving with our product, everybody talks about lithium batteries. Well, our lithium battery is well below the minimum anyways, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But we want to bring it into the state if we can, or into the United States, rather than getting everything from China.
Yeah.
The biggest problem we see with them is you don't get all the documentation that you need in reality.
Yeah.
So we want to do a little more here in the States, and there's some companies we're trying to work with to maybe import the information but build everything here in the States so we have a little more control over things. But as far as the government goes, we're not worried about that. What it's going to be is going to be. We're just going to keep going.
It should shake out eventually, but boy, I'll tell you what, the guesswork right now, all things Washington, is incredibly entertaining, if not a little disconcerting to say the least. So we're waiting to see just how it all shakes out.
Very true. Very true.
But at the end of it, as difficult as it seems right now, I'm hoping that something better is going to result.
Well, we're seeing the aircraft manufacturers, Cessna, or basically Textron bought out Cessna, then they bought out Beech. In Wichita, we're happy that happened because we wanted to keep that basically part of Wichita. Yeah. Then you have other companies being bought out. It's kind of like the car companies. Everybody doesn't like, if you don't like Tesla, that's fine, but the smaller companies that are making electric cars are basically going out of business because they can't maintain. But we're looking at electric aircraft as well. And the nice thing about our product is it draws so little power that it worked great for an electric aircraft. And so we're trying to work with some of the people on that as well.
Excellent. Well, Jim Turner from Kelly Manufacturing, we enjoyed spending a little time with you and throughout the week as well. Keep us up to date on what's new.
We definitely
obviously
will.
You have a few things in the pipeline, and we'll of course see you next 2 weeks at Sun and Fun.
Yep.
In the meantime, folks, this is the 68th Annual AEA Convention and Trade Show. We are live from AEA 2025 here at the Phoenix Convention Center. As we mentioned, we're also getting ready for Sun and Fun, and our team will be there in force, conducting a tremendous amount of live web work on the Sun and Fun Digital Daily site, airborne every afternoon, the morning brief every morning, and then of course Saturday Flight Live with live air show coverage throughout Saturday, day and night, which is going to be a challenge because we haven't done a live night air show yet, so it's going to be really experimental. We're going to have some fun, and we'll see how that works out. In the meantime, though, we're going to take a quick break. We have Alex Kerner from Tristar Technologies, one of our favorite people, coming up, because talk about being a gadget guy, you got to see what Alex is up to. This stuff is insanely cool. You won't see it in any place but the folks doing the behind-the-scenes work, but I guarantee you they're all doing far more work than they could because of Tristar. So, be right back, live from AEA 2025. This is the Aero-News Network.
Aero-News Network's coverage of the 68th Annual AEA International Convention and Trade Show, live from Phoenix, Arizona, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
The future of USB charging power has arrived. Introducing new, ultra-fast charging TA360 USB chargers. Unlock the power of USB Power Delivery PD technology. Max power. Multiple configurations. In-seat cabin, cockpit, and galley USB power. And a direct upgrade for all True Blue Power USB chargers, compatible with any USB electronic device. Easy to install. Backed by the best. True Blue Power, the USB experts.
The legendary BD4C program is building an exciting future for those who want a rugged four-seat family flyer with a proven history. The SureWings program produces a complete kit and builder assist program that gives you everything you need to be flying a BD4CS in record time. For conventional kit builders, BD Aviation has parts, partial kits, and full kits for the 190-mile-per-hour BD4C that has logged thousands of hours. Visit SureWings.com and BDAviation.com for more details.
Are you ready to ace your FAA drone pilot knowledge test, get your remote pilot certificate, and start earning money? Well, flying a drone is a great tool that can open up new business opportunities for anyone. Realtor, insurance adjuster, videographer, or commercial weekend drone warrior, you need to fly legally. Whether you're pursuing your initial Part 107 remote pilot certificate or you need a renewal, King Schools has a course just for you. So start learning today at kingschools.com.
Well, before we get into an interesting conversation with Alex Kerner of Tristar Technologies, we have a video that was developed over at their factory concerning their latest efforts. And I'm going to have our Nathan Cremesino run that for you now so we can get a good explanation. It's hosted by Katie Kerner from Tristar, who unfortunately can't be here because she's under the weather. So she sent Alex. Alex isn't the shoe-in here, so let's take a look at that video. We'll be right back as soon as that finishes.
Hi everyone, I'm Katie from Tristar Technologies, and I will be demonstrating our newest crimper in our lineup called the Crimp Express. We're particularly excited about the Crimp Express because it is so small and portable and is a perfect pairing on the shop floor with your existing hand crimper, such as your DMC tool. When you're building out your harness and have dozens of crimps to do, an operator typically has to manually pick out the contact, visually inspect it, orient it, make sure that it's correctly inserted into their crimp tool, then take their stripped wire, insert that into the contact, and squeeze to crimp. Not only does this take up precious time, but it also opens up the possibility of a bad crimp. The contact can fall onto the harness board, or worse, into the aircraft and create FOD. With the Crimp Express, all the operator needs to do is dump all of their contacts into these bin holders, insert the holder into the machine, and the machine will automatically orient and correctly present the contact into your crimp tool. This Crimp Express increases productivity by about 3x. It helps with inventory control, and it helps eliminate the risk of FOD. Let's go ahead and do a demo. So I have my Crimp Express here. It's already turned on, and the contacts have been loaded into the container, and it says ready to go. I can take my DMC crimp tool, insert it, and you will see on the camera that the contact was deposited into the tool, correctly oriented. The Crimp Express now says loaded. You can take it out and proceed with your crimp. The whole process takes a few seconds to cycle through. As you can see, the machine is already ready to go for the next one. This Crimp Express can accommodate different containers for different contact sizes, and it can also accommodate various crimp tool sizes. Thank you for watching our demo on our new Crimp Express. For more information about this product or any of our automated crimpers or laser wire marking products, please visit our website or give us a call.
Alrighty, well that was cool. Again, we're sorry that Katie can't join us. You go from trade show to trade show to trade show. Sooner or later, you pick up a bug. We're all kind of holding our breath here and hoping it doesn't happen to us. But in the meantime, we're talking to an old friend. Alex, we've known you for a long time.
Yep.
And through a number of just amazing devices that the aviation population doesn't see much of, but in no uncertain terms, they are very dependent upon. Let's talk about your latest innovation. We're talking crimping.
Crimping, right.
Crimping. So let's start crimping some schedules here.
Well, it's very simple. You have a most popular tool which people use for crimping contacts when they create harnesses. And nowadays, they manually pick up contact, load it in the tool. They have to orient contact, as Katie said, and then aim the wire in and then crimp it. We created a device which hopefully will speed up this process, make it more reliable, and basically you insert the wire, the crimper in, and the device loads the contact.
Boom, there you go.
Bam, it takes less than a second. So we time it, and the production rate while we use this device increase about 3 times, with significant saving. In addition to that, the person who does the job does not get tired. And in addition, some guys have large fingers and palms and so forth. Ladies have long nails. For them to grab this thing and pick it up and orient it, it takes time and effort. So this is much easier. You load your inventory of contact in this cassette, you put it in, you load it, you're done. And device basically feeds these contacts, orients, and loads into the crimping tool. This is the latest one, along with some other innovations or other products which we created at Tristar. This was just recently patented, and we unveiled it at Verticon show.
Must have been a big hit.
So far, we got well over 100 inquiries.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, in regards to maintaining the wiring or installing and things of that nature, anything you can do to make it simpler, especially since it can be tedious, can be hard on the hands. Mentioned before, especially women with nails, so forth and so on, something like this is going to be a godsend.
We hope so that it will help people to improve their working environment.
There you go.
Your life.
How'd you think this up?
You will start laughing. When you go to the bathroom, you have a soap dispenser. And before you use soap, so it was inconvenient. That's why people created soap dispenser. And it came from soap dispenser because I thought, why can't we just dispense contacts on demand? And this is where it came about. Very simple.
Very cool. Now this is in production now?
This is just first prototype, which we made back home. Right now, people gearing up for pre-production.
Okay.
So we're making first batch of them.
Okay. When are you likely to be in production?
Realistically, I would say a couple of months.
Okay.
It will take a while because we need to optimize it, see how public accepts it. Maybe we'll hear people and they will give us cool ideas which we would like to implement, because in addition to simple device, you can put barcode on it, you can keep inventory control, you can update this data to their network. So it's endless improvements, but we want to get basic machine out there and then build up on it.
When we first met you many years ago, you had developed a device that basically took the incredible chores involved in building wiring harnesses and knocked it down. And not only that, in addition to building the harnesses, it labeled them at the same time. It did extraordinary stuff. That has become the cornerstone of your initial efforts. How's that program doing?
Actually, it's doing very well, I believe. Up to date, we installed about well over 700 laser wire marking processors.
Okay.
These machines will take wire from a spool, precisely measure it, uniquely mark it, cut it, coil it, and nowadays even strip the wire. So we basically took a chunk of processes and combined it together in one continuous process, which eliminates human intervention per se. And nowadays you can download a file which consists of unlimited number of records of your wires, and the machine will do it sequentially. So you can do some other operations, and meanwhile machine will, then you come back, pick up a batch of wires, your kit per se, so, and it's ready for next step, for crimping. That's why crimping process came about, to make it easier for people. Because in addition to manual crimpers, people use automatic crimping machines as well, which we manufacture for many years. But to work on the harness board, this is the main tool which they use over, alike some pneumatic tools, but this style of tool.
Interesting. What are some of the other products that you've developed and are producing?
We produce portable laser marking machines specifically for people who need to take the tool in the field and bring their workshop or their basically abilities to fix aircraft to the customer. So it's a portable laser marking tool called Econolaser, which marks wire, and it weighs only 35 pounds, something like that. So you can take it with you on the truck, on the road, and so forth, inside of an airplane if you need to.
Do you have much of a certification regulatory burden in building gear like this and putting it into the system? Is there a regulatory control?
Absolutely, yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, from standpoint that every laser is FDA approved device. Second, every machine is CE certified. And third, you need to have certification at Boeing and other companies. We're listed in Boeing specification 5152 as the main sort of basic specification. So our products are listed. Without that, they cannot use it on Boeing related products. So it took a while to get these certifications.
I'll bet it did.
Yes.
Some of those are tough customers.
Tell me, it took 7 years to get one at Boeing.
Oh my goodness. Well, frankly, knowing Boeing and having worked with them off and on over the years, yeah. You may have gotten away with a short time, so who knows.
Took a
grief.
while.
What's next? You got to be thinking about whatever's the next big
We're
thing.
building new systems right now. We call multi-wire. These systems are much more sophisticated. In addition to laser, when you laser mark the wire, you load the spool of wire on the machine, and then you process it. So multi-wire machines can accommodate up to 16 different spools. So in addition to main processes such as measuring wire, cutting wire, stripping wire, marking wire, it selects which wire you want on demand.
Okay.
So if your harness consists of different types of wires, you can select which one you want to process in what sequence. So this is the ones which we building right now. But guys come with innovation every day. Some of them, too futuristic for today, and some of them very useful tools. So we're always looking forward, looking for something new, and looking for incremental improvements to make life easier and more productive.
Evolution rather than revolution.
No revolutions.
Oh.
Yes, no revolutions.
Enough of that. Oh, I'll be darned. How big is the company?
Today, I think it's 18 people full time.
And you're in California, right?
We're right next to LAX.
Okay.
And we have a group of sales organizations, both in the United States and overseas. So we support our activities all over the world. Actually, as today, we have our products from Canada or Alaska, wherever, through the United States, through Mexico to Chile, and from South Africa to North Africa, Middle East, and all over the Europe and Asia.
You're getting around, Alex.
Yes, I'm very proud of it. Yes.
You should be. It's extraordinary. It's funny, when you look at an industry like this, everybody sees the glitzy glass panels. They see the cool autopilots. They see, this gauge and that gauge. They rarely, unless they're within the industry, understand what it takes to get to that point. I remember when I had an advanced glass panel done for an airplane of mine about a decade ago. It was one thing to go out and get the panel and everything else. Then I got the bill for the wiring harness.
Yes.
And I'm sitting there going, for what? Well, now I know.
It's all manual, yeah.
I mean, the amount of work, and let's face it, any part of that goes bad, diagnosing a problem in a wiring harness is akin to black magic. It is and no fun at all.
Yes.
So,
and especially that on a large airplane, you have well over 100 miles of wire.
Yeah.
And the average wire is only several feet long. So you're talking about hundreds of thousands of wires. You need to uniquely measure, cut, mark, strip, crimp, and insert in the connector shell. So
yeah, no problem.
No problem whatsoever.
Problem. Holy smokes. Well, the reason I became a pilot and not a mechanic or a technician, very good reason. And aviation, by and large, is thanking me for that particular distinction because I can fly. Everything else, no, not going there. Good grief. Where can people get more information on what you're doing in the entire product line?
Basically, our website is the best source.
Okay.
It's try-star-technologies.com. And
I know you got some great video.
Okay. Well, and better person to promote it. And LinkedIn and so forth. But basically, if you on Google or any other media, you just type laser wire marker, we will be number 1, number 2, number 3. So we're there. Yeah, we're there.
Okay.
So,
well, Alex, continued success to you,
Thank
and Katie,
you.
and the rest of your organization. You're one of our favorites because you do cool stuff, and you're doing stuff that nobody thinks about until all of a sudden you really need it.
Need it, yes.
Oops. At which point, we got to call Alex.
Thank you. Yes,
So,
I'm here.
very
People
good.
sometimes surprised. I just send you an email. You're calling me 30 seconds after that. Say, it just passed my desk. I couldn't.
Got to get it done.
Yep.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're
It's
quite
always
welcome.
a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank
Great
you.
job, too.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Alrighty, folks. We're going to take a quick break here. Astronics is next on the list here. We are going to be back in just a few moments. And we are live from the 68th Annual AEA Convention and Trade Show in the Phoenix Convention Center. This is the Aero-News Network. We will be right back.
Aero-News Network's coverage of the 68th Annual AEA International Convention and Trade Show, live from Phoenix, Arizona, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
Looking for a new generation of proven and efficient aviation power plants that boast modern engineering, electronic ignition, and both direct and gear drive systems? With 100 horsepower to 240 horsepower, the Skyline and Redline engines offer uncommon value in an overpriced industry. Whether you are looking for fixed wing or rotor, MW Fly Americas has been established to service the American market with dedication and expertise. MWFlyAmericas.com.
Flying is my entire life. It's all that I've ever known. I've relied on Hartzell propellers since about 1995. Hartzell means much more than a propeller. It's a relationship. When you hear the phrase built on honor, they care about us as pilots, they care about our community, and they care about the product they build. It's such a proud honor to fly behind that propeller.
And we're back. It's the 68th Annual AEA Convention Trade Show, live from the Phoenix Convention Center. We're pleased to be with you in the tail end of the third day of live coverage. We started out day one with Some interesting news from the folks at AEA, as well as the long-running new product introduction session, which was filled with a fair amount of innovation this year. A lot of neat stuff. We're happy to be able to present that to you live. We did a whole series of interviews yesterday, and we are completing that run today. We'll be joining Collins Aerospace shortly, and then AEA President Mike Adamson as well to finish out the day. But in the meantime, we're saving the good stuff for the bottom of the roster here. Jeff Unger, VP Engineering, Astronics. Jeff, welcome to Aero-News and our live insanity. We have a lot of fun here.
Thank you very much.
This is the first time at BAT we've had somebody from Astronics talk to our audience here. So the first question is, who are you? Tell us all about Astronics.
So Astronics business has multiple divisions. They do various products from in-seat power systems. They do aircraft interface products. In the commercial market space, our part of our division also does wireless access points and servers. So if you've been on many of the airlines that have the devices, portable devices where you can play movies and such, quite often the wireless access point and the server is an Astronics product.
Oh, there you go.
And it's with somebody else's software on them to run for the airlines. If you've been on many of the airlines with your in-seat power plugged in your device, it's an Astronics product for that. So Astronics does a lot of those things for the commercial airline business. The division that I'm working in is out of Kent, Washington.
Okay.
We are focused on products, cabin electronics products for VIP, VVIP aircraft, which head of state, a private 747 with very highly customized type products for that, a full cabin electronic systems. Recently, in the last couple of years, we started doing some products to go into the business jet market space because we've been doing them for the VVIP for so long. Very same products, we're doing variations of them to go into the business jet marketplace. And that was our focus at this show, is to launch some new products for this market space.
Outstanding. You're in a very competitive space.
Yes.
That's a little vicious at times from what I recall from working in and around it at times. But none are more demanding than the customer. They're paying for it, they want it, and they want it right now, and they want it to work. That's got to be a tough standard to live up to.
It is, and if you look at our primary market with VIP, VVIP aircraft, it's the owners of someone who can afford to buy a 747 for themselves.
Yeah.
Wants to have it exactly, They have a great home theater system at home. They want to get on their aircraft and they want it to be just as fancy, just as nice. And so we've always been driven to be state of the art and following everything that can happen at home and to have it look just as good as in the plane.
Tough stuff. So you're mentioning introductions here at AEA. Tell us what's new.
So the products that we did the new product introduction is a new cabin moving map server. Here's one of the physical boxes. It's what we had learned is that there have been these cabin moving map servers in the marketplace for quite a few years. But some of the primary companies that were doing it were getting out of the business. And so there's hundreds of aircraft out there, business jets, that have very old products that it's outdated.
Yeah.
So we are partnering with FlightPath 3D.
All right.
For software. They're doing the software, we develop the hardware for the box, and we're going to be the face to the marketplace to sell the box. So the FlightPath 3D cabin moving map software is pretty much the most modern, advanced cabin map product that's out there. It's running on almost all the airlines. So the airlines in-seat and in-flight entertainment, if you tap on map, it's most likely going to be FlightPath 3D.
Oh, wonderful.
Software. And so that's our partner. to do this. They do the software in the box. We're doing the hardware on this box, and we're making this box so that it's easy to retrofit on planes that might have an older cabin moving map product that's outdated. It's not a drop-in replacement connector-wise because it's more modern interfaces, but it allows them to say, okay, we had an old map here. We can put this map in. It's smaller, lighter than the one that was there, and the wires are already running for the most part to that location. They can plug in and have a more modern map. The reason we say server is the old map products used to be mostly a box that output video, and that video would get distributed to the displays, and so everybody saw the same thing.
Yeah.
We output video, we can do that, and so we can integrate in with those systems, but we also, it is a server, and it has the Ethernet interface that can go to a wireless access point, so every device can go and play their own instance of a map. So now anybody sitting there can have, this is my map, I can play with it. I can rotate the aircraft, I can zoom in, zoom out, rotate the globe. I can do all that, and everybody else is watching something that's watching map, doesn't have to see what I'm looking at. So every device can be its own client and playing that. And
that takes some power.
Yes, and that's all going to be on the server, capable of handling all that. We have some new 4K cabin monitors that are smart monitors that all can play their own instance of the map on the monitor. And so if someone has a monitor right in front of them, one of our new touchscreen monitors, they can bring up the map and they can zoom around, play with it. And again, anybody else sees something different.
I'll be darned. Well, you've got when you're talking about monitors and cabins and things of that nature, you got to be, those have to be built to quite a standard because the great unwashed public is not kind to these devices at all.
Yes.
And all 4K now?
Almost all from about 20-inch size on up, our monitors are 4K. The new ones that we're introducing this year, we have prototypes in our booth, are a 22-inch 4K OLED and a 27-inch 4K OLED. Both of these will be introduced this year with touchscreens on them so that you can bring up the map and play with the map. The other feature of those new monitors are that if they're interfaced to a wireless access point and there's connectivity on the aircraft, we have software in those monitors that not only will play a map instance, but will allow you, the end user, to cast from their phone any of their streaming services. So if someone has their own Hulu account, Netflix account, Disney Plus account, Amazon Prime, any of those.
So if you missed the last episode of 1923, you're safe, huh?
Exactly. Or
Harrison Ford will be thrilled.
You watched half a movie at home, you want to finish it up on the plane, you don't have to download special software. You open the app and say I want to cast it, and our monitor will show up as a device, and you tap it and it will play that content on the monitor.
Well, in the airline game, almost all of those would obviously be fleet deals, and that's got to be an incredible amount of work. The R&D process for something like that, especially when you're dealing with customers that are trying to one-up, the next carrier. I mean, 121's a vicious world. I lived in it for way too long, and anything over a day is way too long. So I would imagine that's got to be quite the process for you all.
It is. We're used to certifying displays and products in the marketplace, so we have quite a bit of experience with that. So we understand that. We understand that in bringing these new products out into the marketplace, we have a long history of experience being able to do that, get the certification, working with customers.
Outstanding.
And these products are primarily now focused at the business jet customer base, and we think it's a really good time, especially for a modern map, but the monitors with the casting ability. It's a great time for that capability in today's marketplace because of the connectivity that's happening. The satellite connectivity, the LEO satellite systems, now the bandwidth is there. It's not a problem. 5 years ago, nobody wanted, the connectivity companies didn't want you to try to stream your Netflix and things on the planes. But now it's there, and this will allow them to, do what they always wanted to do, is I just want to play my own accounts on the monitors on the plane.
Outstanding. All righty. What else is new in your venue? Anything else to discuss?
We also in our booth here, we're showing a first version. So as we talked about before, we do full cabin management systems for VVIP aircraft, very large privately owned aircraft. We have a state-of-the-art CMS system for that. It's called Avenir. And what we are showing in our booth is we've taken the Avenir system and we have prototypes of the boxes to bring the system down so it would be a good fit on a business jet versus a 747. So in our booth, we're demonstrating a business jet version of our Avenir
What class
CMS.
of business jets are you targeting? Are we talking basically the larger segment or medium to large?
I would say mid to large.
Okay.
I think
very active segment. Wow.
Yes.
There's so much happening there. The turnover is incredible, but the new birds, you can't get them fast enough anyway.
Yes.
So.
And we're looking forward to being able to provide a good solution. I've been speaking quite a bit with different service centers and install places, and what they've been telling me is there is opportunity for a good system option of this type of a system.
Well, the venues you're working with, you'd be more than qualified to be able to bring that technology to those levels. And with the amount of changeover in the mid to large bizjet segment right now because of the shortage of new airframes.
Yes.
The first thing they do is send it to the shop for 6 months and refit it the way they want it with every little goodie and gadget they can cram into it. So I imagine at that point you're their best friend.
Yes.
There you go.
That's where we're trying to provide value to the market in that area.
How do you educate a customer like that though? It's one thing to have the resources and know that you've got to do something that's on a par or better than what you've seen with, such and such a bizjet or such and such an airline system. But the one thing I've learned in regards to all the different tech segments, especially the broadband operators and things of that nature, is that the amount of education required for the buyer is extraordinary. They know they want something, they don't know what they want.
Very true. And that's one thing that I try to do. I run engineering in our division, but I spend quite a bit of time going out and visiting and talking to customers and understanding the customers. And I go and understand the technology in the industry, and I think a big part is going out and listening to them and saying, what are the problems you're trying to solve? Help me help you solve these problems. That's a big part what I think is important, which is why we have been coming out with some of these products, because that's what we've been hearing. Our customers want these things, our customers want these capabilities, and we're trying to match solutions to what their customers are asking for.
Outstanding. Well, Jeff, we really appreciate your time and a chance to get up and close with what you're doing, but more important, it's obvious I need to do a little bit of research from here on out because you're doing some intriguing things. And of course, we have to cover everything, jack of all trades, master of none. But fascinating, and we hope you will keep us informed when new products are developed and make sure that get a presser out to us, and we will probably see you here next year.
Absolutely.
I can't thank enough for your time.
Thank you very much.
Nice job, by the way. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Alrighty, folks, we're going to take a quick break. We've got Collins on deck. That'll be fun. I've spent a few hours behind those panels. Good old days. At any rate, we've got several people on deck, but Collins next, and then following that, Mike Adamson, president of AEA, to fill us in on the state of the industry. We will be back in just a few moments. This is the 68th Annual AEA Convention and Trade Show at the Phoenix Convention Center. I dare you to say that 3 times fast. And we will be back in just a moment. This is the Aero-News Network. All righty, folks, we are back. Hope you had a chance to run out, grab a cup of coffee, do whatever's necessary. We are getting into the last hour of our live programming from the 68th Annual AEA Convention and Trade Show at the Phoenix Convention Center. As I said a few moments ago, say that 3 times fast. I dare you. Anyway, we are here with David Ufrin from the Collins Aerospace folks, and I mentioned when he sat down, I've spent a lot of time behind the screens. And God bless them, because they got me home, and that's all that counts. More important than anything else, they have a position in this industry that is unassailed. They've been around for quite some time, but it's time to get caught up on all things Collins.
Yeah.
Take it away. What's new at Collins? Tell me the good stuff.
So Collins, we've been really working on expanding on all of our really solid technology, right? Like you said, you've been flying behind our glass for many, many years, and we
won't say how many.
We've just been building upon each iteration of that legacy and bringing new pilot tools to cope with ever-changing airspace and needs of pilots, and right-sizing solutions that meet their needs and meet all these wonderful dealers' needs. Yeah. So we focus a lot on the cockpit of the airplane, and also really focus on the cabin of the airplane too. So we have good solutions in both aspects.
The cockpit environment has become incredibly complex and incredibly competitive.
Absolutely.
And not always for the best reasons. Needless to say, you've got some iconic products in that area. I mean, so many of us cut our teeth when we finally got to turbine, and yay, there we go. We're all set and ready to fly now. But that was a time in technology where it was just enough to present the information you needed, and now over the last few years, it's a matter of the manner in which we're presenting information, methodologies, menuing, things of that nature. And you folks have really buried yourself in it to make the changes necessary to keep up with everything that's out there.
Absolutely. So starting, like what you said, the best product at the time for ProLine 2, it served the pilots very well for a very long time, and then going into ProLine 4 and ProLine 21 and now ProLine Fusion. Each iteration we thought about safety and how those menuing things were working out, like, okay, what would reduce pilot workload, make it safer for them to operate, make them more comfortable in the cockpit in reduced pilot situations and things like that, and that's where we've really been focused. And with our Fusion product having touchscreen technology and non-embedded menus and things like that, with a couple button pushes, you really can.
Well, you simplified it quite a bit from everything I've seen so far. Because one of my bugaboos with a couple of the panel programs that are out there is some of these things have gotten very complex, and to make a decision, the old joke was when I was running down to Miami and making a quick trip down there, and they'd switch a runway on me. Well, in Brangie, that's a lot of button pushes, turn knobs, this, that, and that, the other. I was flying a new system at the time from Navidyne called R9 that simplified everything dramatically, and I was amazed at what proper menuing did. And then I'm talking to the folks that are coming up the line right now, especially in the latest version of ProLine, and obviously it's something you paid attention to, because boy, there's nothing more important than simplifying the cockpit this day and age.
Yeah, you always fly the airplane first, and then you go back to the avionics after you get there. But we've really made that simple to make that transition to get back into the avionics when you do have an issue like that. Absolutely.
How do you develop a program like Fusion?
So
where do you go?
So first off, you got to see the need in the market space, right? So not every platform is asking for all of that expanded capability. So what we really like to do is solve customers' problems. And if the problem can be solved through our Fusion solution, fantastic. That's what we're going to go do, and we're going to take care of that customer. And we have lots of those solutions in the market, like our Challenger 604 retrofit, King Air retrofit, and the CJ line of retrofits that we offer with Fusion.
Yay, CJs.
Yeah, but ProLine 21, it's robust. There's over 8,000 of those aircraft out there flying today. And with an install base like that, we also have to make sure we're bringing those new solutions to that fleet as well, which is modernized radar, pilot tools, private ICAO, some of those CPDLC and technologies that we're talking about there, that we're really focusing on those two channels to make sure we're giving the best solution for the pilot that needs it.
Outstanding. What do you think distinguishes Fusion above all else right now when you look at the competitive environment, if you had to put your finger on something?
I would say it's simplicity. So the retrofit solution.
My favorite word.
Yes, simplicity. So I always look at Fusion when I'm talking to a pilot or a dealer or something. I said, think of it like this. You can declutter it and make it as simple as you want to operate the airplane, but every time you want to add or stack a feature, you can do that very easily. You can have a full PFD, a full MFD, and another full PFD, or you can split this screen and bisect this screen in various ways, and then touch the information that you want to see. So instead of, well, do I press this button or that button, you touch it, and it's right there. No embedded menus. You configure it for how you want to operate the airplane. So simplicity.
Let's talk about your cabin products a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell me what right now is the focus of your attention.
So right now, we're really focused on a good rollout for our Venue Smart Monitor. We announced at the show with AirShow HD.
Yep, got the press review up last night, as I recall.
So the wonderful thing about that product is it's taking what we've done in Venue and AirShow and shrinking it down and making it more accessible to more people. It provides we were talking about meeting the customer where they're at. It provides a moving map, some entertainment options if they want those, in a singular box that makes install less risky. Because large cabin like venue, you have a lot of planning that goes into that and whatnot. So it just, again, simple, and we're really excited about. We've been talking with the dealers, and they are all really spun up about being able to install one of our cabin products because of it takes out a lot of that extra work.
Well, as bad as the competitive level has been in the cockpit environment, the cabin has become a melee.
Yes.
It's extraordinary, the amount of activity out there, especially since the folks riding in the cheap seats, so to speak, are becoming more demanding by the day.
Absolutely.
It's hard to keep up with that.
PEDs drive a lot of the cabin experience, right? So everything we do does interface with a lot of that technology that's out there. So from a control standpoint or additional streaming options, so we've tied that into our venue cabin system and whatnot. But with almost 2,500 venue systems, and then also all the legacy systems we've put out, speaking of being competitive, we have, again, like our Pro line, we have such a strong foundation to just enhance everything that we currently do. With the solutions that our customers are asking of us now.
Outstanding. Okay. What can we expect next?
Well, we are really...
Just between us.
Yeah, just between us, right?
Ignore the camera. They're not doing anything.
Yeah. What you can expect next from Collins is we're going to consistently be monitoring what is the needs of the ever-changing airspace. How are we going to adapt our solutions that we have out there and build those into solutions for today and for tomorrow, right? So we're constantly keeping an eye on it. We're constantly getting feedback and pulsing the industry, the dealers and customers to, we'll go we'll work for your solution for you there. Yeah.
A lot of customization.
Absolutely.
Well, that's what it takes these days. It's everybody's different. Everybody has needs, and they want them yesterday.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So it's a tough market to work in. We've been talking a little bit about the climate in the industry right now. The avionics industry has been through some interesting ups and downs. It knows at this point that it's got to really hunker down on the training side because hiring right now has become not the most fun part of the gig.
Absolutely.
AEA in particular has taken the position that they need to get more heavily involved through a certification and training initiative. And we're excited to see what comes of all that. How does this all affect Collins? How do you see your place in this industry right now?
For the training aspect and investing in the folks of the future, we're always looking to pull in that talent to continue to build upon, help us build those technologies and whatnot there, right? We know there's a talent gap in the industry and there's a talent shortage in this industry, and we're working really hard to make sure when new people come in, we get them trained up. I've had personally, 15 plus meetings with separate folks that are begging for training from Collins Aerospace, and we're going to meet them there. Whether that's through on-job training, online training that we provide them, or on-site training at our facility, we're going to work toward that.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to look at AEA's new certification and training program?
I have not yet, but I know there's folks on our team that have been looking at it and trying to see how we can more leverage and partner with AEA on that.
How do you judge the overall health of the industry?
I would say it's strong. There is so much demand in at least when I look at avionics right now, just at that subset of the industry, there's so much demand for the products and services all of us build and support. And to the point where shop floors are filling up, demand, lead times and things like that. We have more demand than we can fulfill in a year a lot of the time, and I'd say very strong. The need and want for our products is definitely there, and it doesn't show any sign of slowing right now.
Well, what's particularly interesting is watching the activity in the refit regime, because the new airframes are coming off the line real slowly right now. The demand is high, the waiting list is extraordinary. So people are picking up cherry airframes wherever they can and then detailing them to the best of their ability.
Absolutely. And we have solutions that go along with all of that. You know, like we've been talking about, we can update the cockpit and the cabin to make those older airframes very viable for a lot of years.
If you had to look at the overall aviation industry and tell them what Collins is right now and things that they don't know, because you're a legacy company.
Absolutely.
And I hate to say it, occasionally get overlooked because, well, you've been out there all this long.
Yeah.
What is it they don't know that they need to know about Collins in 2025?
So new folks coming in, what they need to know is how prolific we are in the industry, right? So many new folks are coming up, flying aircraft that have other avionics systems in it and whatnot. And then once they cross that threshold, right, it's almost all Collins equipment. And they need to know who we are. They need to get experience and take a look at what we're doing and really kind of realize that we are the legacy. We have been here for that long. And
the reason for it.
Yeah, and the reason for it.
I'll be darned. Well, it's exciting to see strong companies with such a long background continue to innovate in this space. Granted, some of that's because everybody's pushing everybody else, which is kind of fun. But at the same time, the one thing that I watch when we see companies taking on certain competitive aspects when they're getting pushed in certain ways, that they get pushed along aims that make sense. It's okay, everybody's got to have this feature or that technology. How easy is it to use? How does the pilot maintain it? How do you update it? Things of that nature. All these things matter. This is an area where you folks have excelled in the past. And yeah, you've had your ups and downs, but it's obvious, especially with Fusion and other programs at this point, that you folks are bound and determined. I'm glad to see it because, like I said, part of my history too.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Wonderful.
Where can people get more information about Collins these days?
So obviously we have a website, but we also have a bunch of talented individuals that are spread all over the country that we can connect you with and train you and teach you anything you want to know about our products. Also, we're showing here at AEA still, so we are showcasing all our technology in the booth, and we are at a lot of trade shows making sure people don't forget who we are and our installed base.
Unlikely. And congrats on the latest introductions, and please keep us up to date. We're happy to make sure that everybody knows what you're doing, and in the meantime, have a great show. We thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Alrighty,
it.
folks, we're going to take a quick break here. We've got Mike Adamson on deck, president of AEA. We've got a lot to talk about there. Not just the health of the industry per se, but one of the folks that's driving it. So that's going to be fun. And frankly, we've got some tough questions for him, and it's always fun to just put Mike on the hot seat and see what happens. In the meantime, this is the 68th Annual AEA Convention and Trade Show live from the Phoenix Convention Center. We will be back in just a moment. We thank David from Collins, and more important, somewhere down the line, I've got to get up close and personal with Fusion and get updated.
Absolutely. Stop by the booth or stop anywhere. We'll have to
Deal.
help you out.
I'm looking forward to it. Alrighty, folks, we will be right back. This is the Aero-News Network live from AEA 2025.
Aero-News Network's coverage of the 68th Annual AEA International Convention and Trade Show, live from Phoenix, Arizona, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
Direct Fly USA proudly introduces the new Alto NG, a single-engine, two-seat light sport aircraft for the North American market. This simple, all-metal aircraft design provides low maintenance cost, easy, comfortable access, and responsive flight controls. Equipped with the Rotax 912 engine and a ballistic parachute, the Alto NG is reliable and safe. Learn more about the Alto NG at directflyusa.com.
I'm currently using the Hartzell Talon, by far the best aerobatic propeller ever come out.
I use the Trailblazer. It adds performance to the Super Decathlon and dependability, and it's rugged.
Hartzell's been an excellent partner for Whip Air, just in terms of your product support as well as keeping an eye on the market and developing new products that meet demand.
It's helping us all have better performing airplanes.
It's such a proud honor to fly behind that propeller.
Looking for a new generation of proven and efficient aviation power plants that boast modern engineering, electronic ignition, and both direct and gear drive systems? With 100 horsepower to 240 horsepower, the Skyline and Redline engines offer uncommon value in an overpriced industry. Whether you are looking for fixed wing or rotor, MW Fly Americas has been established to service the American market with dedication and expertise. MWFlyAmericas.com.
Are you ready to ace your FAA drone pilot knowledge test, get your remote pilot certificate, and start earning money? Well, flying a drone is a great tool that can open up new business opportunities for anyone. Realtor, insurance adjuster, videographer, or commercial weekend drone warrior, you need to fly legally. Whether you're pursuing your initial Part 107 remote pilot certificate or you need a renewal, King Schools has a course just for you. So start learning today at kingschools.com.
Have we got audio? Yeah. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Put her to work. Don't let Holland get away with anything.
You got me?
I think so, yeah.
Do you have me?
Okay, I'm sitting here figuring out a few things on the audio side here, folks, but we're glad to be back at the 68th Annual AEA Convention and Trade Show on the floor of the Phoenix Convention Center. And at the bottom of the lineup here, we save the best for last. Our home run hitter here, Mike Adamson.
Clean up, huh?
Yeah, the Grand Poobah, that's the official title, Grand Poobah of AEA, and the guy who's leading an industry that's had some interesting years and is having a lot of fun right now. Mike, I'm going to start out with the easy question. How is the state of the avionics industry?
It's good. We're excited to be here in Phoenix. You can tell from the show floor that you know it's a good industry. Lots of innovation here, lots of excitement. I feel like I say that every time I talk to you.
But it's true.
But it's true.
Yeah.
Right? It's true. And so you saw that with the new product introductions on Monday, which I appreciate you guys covering for us, on Tuesday, sorry. You know, you can tell from that there's some good excitement with new innovations, some opportunities for these shops and manufacturers. So it's good. You know, our focus this year has been the workforce piece. It's not just this year, but we're excited to bring some things out this year that's new for us. So we've got a lot going on that side. So from a shop perspective, where they're concerned about you know, their backlog and their capacity and their ability to fit everybody in, we're working on the solutions for them. So we're excited about that too. It's not just the products and the innovation; it's the things that are happening on the personnel side too. So good year.
Sounds like. Big announcement has been your involvement in certification and training.
Correct.
Let's hit you with another big one.
Okay.
What's that all about? Give us the skinny on that program, and where is it going to go?
Yeah, so Certified Aircraft Electronic Technician, CAET. That is an AEA certification that we launched on Tuesday here at the show, and it is the culmination of 2 decades of experience in standards development and certification through another party, through a third party, and we felt like as an industry it needed our brand to help it sort of redefine this new standard that we created with ASTM. So it was,
well, face it, you didn't have much to do anyway, right?
Yeah, it was, you know, we didn't. Yeah, we our schedule was light, so we decided to tackle this. But no, it started with our involvement with ASTM and our standards group there, and we've been part of that for, like I said, 20 some odd years, and that standard came up for review, and we took it upon ourselves to pull in industry experts, folks from our workforce development committee, rewrite that standard, and then while we were doing that, we were thinking, what's the end game here? We have a nice standard for personnel in the avionics field, but what are we doing to recognize them? And for a long time, the association has underwritten the testing for the aircraft electronics technician, which has been great, and we fully supported that for a very long time. And we thought, the association's got an opportunity to take this kind of to the next level. And so that's part of the program, get it launched, make it a stackable certification. You can show a career progression. Obviously there's going to be involvement with the show, our training, recertification, that sort of thing. So we're really excited about be able to show a career path for avionics technicians now. There's a lot that will come out of this.
How will this be implemented? If somebody who wants to come into the industry, knows they need training, doesn't have a whole lot of guides, how will this affect them? What will they do to take advantage of it?
So initially it's going to launch through partner schools. We teamed up with the Unmanned Safety Institute, USI, as a certification partner.
Okay.
But it turns out, they've been operating in the drone space for more than a decade. They're in, I think, 300 different schools, all 50 states.
Wow. Okay.
So they've been through this process of reaching out to career technical education centers and work-based learning centers and introducing drones from an operations side to them. So they've got that experience and, frankly, the manpower and the horsepower to help us. So that door's been opened. So as a partner with us, they're going to supplement what they currently do with the avionics piece and our certification. So arguably, we'll immediately be exposed to high schools in all 50 states.
Okay.
Some of their partners already, the 300 some odd schools, and it may depend on that school's resources. But right off the bat, they see a fit as a complement to what they're doing in the emerging technology space, which is great for us because we're seeing that in our show as well. So it's a natural fit, good certification partner, and they have that infrastructure that we didn't have to rebuild, which is nice. We can focus on working with our shops, working with our schools.
Build on what they've got rather than trying to start something from scratch.
You got it.
Well, one of the things that we've been talking about here throughout the week is the hiring process and how difficult it's become. Find people who, one, want jobs, two, are qualified for the jobs, and three, in a position to take them. So the announcement of this process, a lot of people are still looking at all, but it's been welcomed significantly simply because that pipeline needs to be increased.
Correct. It's hard. We hired a dedicated workforce development director a couple of years ago, and that's one person. We're a small team, as we've talked about over the years. We're resource constrained, but we can leverage those partnerships where people have expertise, they have connections and questions about this particular industry, and we've got some answers for them. We've got subject matter experts that help us develop this stuff, and it's relevant. It's relevant to other fields. It's high tech. It's exciting, and it's kind of nice to to be on the forefront, the cutting edge of technology. We've always said that. Every time we talk about the cool part that we get to do with avionics, but it's kind of neat to see that make it to the classroom finally. And I'm not saying it hasn't been there, because we have 60 academic member schools already that have been doing some form of an avionics program over the years, since I've started many moons ago. But this takes it to another level. It takes it to the high school level, and maybe even junior high eventually.
Really?
It's possible, right? There's things can spring off of this that will get it down to that level, and really develop that pipeline for our shops and manufacturers. I mean, this isn't just about being a technician. This could be engineering, sales, marketing.
Oh, yeah.
There's all kinds of things.
It's funny, I was listening to Mike Rowe.
Yeah.
He's talking about technical training and all. He's just such a, he's pushing it so aggressively because, one, go out, learn something. Two, get a job. The college environment is fine if you can hack it and this, that, and the other, but to be perfectly honest, what do you want to do? If there's somebody who can teach you what you want to do and put you there, go for it.
Right.
And the avionics industry is perfect. It's a great community.
Yeah.
It is no hyperbole when I say, we go to Oshkosh, we go to Sun and Fun, we go to all these places. We are more relaxed and more feeling a position of belonging to an industry as we do here.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just such a great community, and we like working with you guys over so many years. And we watch this industry grow. We watch this industry work through a number of interesting issues. And it's a great place. I mean, if one of my nieces or nephews were looking in this area, this is the first place I'd recommend.
Yeah.
It's a great place to go. So
I agree. It's and the future's bright. Technology's really changing. The aircraft we're looking at, that are on the horizon, are super exciting. The legacy product, retrofitting that, there's really neat things happening there.
Especially right now.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of getting that story told, and we're getting better at it, Jim. We've been
great.
working on it for a while, but we're getting better at it, and I think there's some real opportunities there for us. So.
I'm going to hit you with a Rick Perry question.
Okay.
Washington changes our foot.
Sure.
How do you see that affecting both the organization as well as the community?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of unknowns. Stability in the administration will be nice. I think, we talk about this a lot in Rick's sessions and with our members. There's a lot of A's behind senior level folks, acting. I think when you get that sorted and you get some clarity in, those org charts, so to speak, we've got long-standing relationships. I feel like in our side, that's not as big of a concern. There's still questions, right? There's things on flight standards and cert side that, affect everybody, but getting an administrator is great. That happened this week.
Yep.
So, I think that starts it. I know, separate this particular agency out and let's talk in general terms about all federal agencies.
Yeah.
There's definitely some winds of change. Fortunately,
more like turbulence.
Turbulence, let's call it that. I do feel like there's from a transportation side, certainly from the aviation side, there's definitely an importance on what we do. And I think it's probably less affected than some of these others. It's clear it is, right? So maybe we come out of that with less headwind. But, we're going to stay focused on it, keep Rick focused on it, work with our sister associations as we do.
Crack the whip on Rick, yeah, there you go.
But I think it's an opportunity, though, as I said in the opening, to help modernize, streamline, make it more efficient, and make it a win for us. There
you go.
So.
In the past, before you ascended to the throne, you and I would talk about educational programs, scholarships and the like.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want to leave that out now that you're the Grand Poobah. So what's happening in the scholarship programs?
Still growing. Yeah, in fact, we added another good-sized scholarship this year, aircraft lighting, thank you. Stepped up with a $5,000 award. And so that program's still growing. Number of applications is growing. There's still interest. I think we're going to see, quite a bit more interest with our exposure with this program, the CAET program.
Yeah, that's a handshake, isn't it?
That's right. It's just going to be automatic.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been good, and continuing to do that. I mean, the foundation was started in 1990. We've, I don't know, ballpark probably close to $2 million in awards over the years, and thousands of students. And it's fun to see them.
That's not chump change.
No, and we're starting to see them. It's neat to see them come back to the show, whether they've been awarded a Learn to Fly scholarship through us, or got to go with one of our academic members on scholarship. They're in industry now, so it's kind of neat to follow up with them.
It's got to be tremendously satisfying.
It's great, and we have a whole new crew back at our skills competition. That's right in the middle of it.
I think that's where Holland is right now. So
okay.
We've been watching the activity. There's just so much happening in this industry, and the funny part is that if you compare the various aspects of aviation, whether it be airframe or power plant or avionics, nothing has driven as much change in aviation as has aviation and electronics.
Oh yeah.
And of course, with electrics now on the cusp, it's going to get even more interesting.
Yeah. There's innovation. There's disruption. Every
I
turn.
Love disruption.
And you think we always think of in terms of the cockpit, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot going on in the cabin, a lot, and you can tell from the show. There's a lot going on there. There's a ton of opportunity.
We're talking to Astronics and Collins and the rest, and they're not sitting on their duffs.
No. So it's an exciting time.
Indeed. How is the organization doing? Well, you've been running it. How long has it been now?
6 years. 6
years?
Yeah.
I was going to guess at 5.
Yeah.
But boy, time flies when you're having fun.
Oh yeah.
How is AEA as an organization growing and evolving?
We're healthy. Yeah. Membership. We focus on that. Obviously, expanding our market, but staying focused on who we are too. Right. We're not it's not just anybody. We've changed some of that. We've talked in the past about our strategic plan and executing that. So we've opened up a couple areas. We're focused on the designees and the delegates and bringing them in. We've got that as part of our show now. We had our 3rd annual delegates conference, which is day 1 was today, and that'll conclude tomorrow. So we're excited about the opportunity to serve that community. I think there's a lot that we can do there, and so that's growing. And then we got through. It was 5 years ago. I canceled my first show as the president, and thought I was off to a heck of a start.
That's a fine welcome.
Way to go! Yeah. Well, we picked the right guy.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Click.
Yeah. So that was 5 years ago, and it's been a good road back. Honestly, there's a reset, of course, but we've escaped all that. Looking back, good for us to get through it. But we're healthy. We're financially strong. The membership's growing. We're about to hit a new peak number for us, so we're excited about that. And just making sure we're cognizant of what's going on in the marketplace, so we can serve those new frontiers and not lose sight of where we started 68 years ago.
Well, speaking of new frontiers, the aviation industry is evolving. The big A word, autonomous, shows up more and more and more. And frankly, for those of us who fly, we're just kind of wondering, okay, are we about to be kicked to the curb? But obviously that is going to be so avionics driven.
Sure.
I mean, nothing will be more important, especially since the power plants now are going all electric.
Right.
And the monitoring and health systems and so forth, don't even get me started on batteries, or don't get Todd and Van started on batteries.
Yeah.
Everything is on the cusp of dramatic change. Are you ready?
I think we're uniquely ready because we're already wired.
Yeah.
I think there's some things with, higher voltage and infrastructure and stuff that will be different for how it's handled. But from a systems perspective, software perspective, technology perspective, I think we're doing it already. I mean, autonomy's, technically we've got autonomy already in some aircraft if you hit a certain button. right? So,
Oh, yeah.
So I think we're there. The nice thing is we'll see evolutionary change in some of those systems. Our manufacturers are already working on that. I think there's a lot of automation in the cockpit that will come out that we're excited to see that maybe makes it to the retrofit market. Yeah, we're ready. I feel pretty excited about that piece.
Yeah, the problem is you and nobody else.
But I think, while we're waiting for rules and regulations, policies, all those sorts of infrastructure, and all the things that, and certification and whatnot, I think the nice thing with avionics manufacturers is, they know how to bring things to market a lot quicker. They're more nimble, more capable. They've been thinking of these things for years anyways. So I think we'll have some work to do on the training side, bringing upskilling the technicians and that sort of thing. But that's something we've been doing for 68 years anyways.
Avionics, the technology in the industry are built on the backbone of shops that are all over the country, hundreds and hundreds of them. There's some amazing people out there, and I've had some amazing work done over the years in various projects. Do you see their health as exceptional as the rest of the overall industry is at this point?
I think it's hit and miss. I might temper that compared to prior years. From our conversations, of course, we have a board meeting in conjunction with our show, and we go around and kind of talk about the backlogs and where you're at. We're seeing the backlogs taper a little bit, in the 5 to 6 months range, or 3 to 4 months range instead of the 6 to 8 months range. So maybe a little more subdued than years past.
Okay.
I think product innovation will help that. I know there's going to be some things coming out this year that will help that, but then there's administration change. There was a little bit of a pause in the fall. There's the market health has a direct correlation to what's going on in our industry. So discretionary spending, there's factors for sure, but I also think there's sort of this period of, wait and see, understand, see where the opportunities are. It does not seem to be hurting the shops. And for everyone that we may have closed because someone's getting out of the business, retiring, selling off, there's a new one that opens.
Yeah.
It's almost one for us.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Mike, if there's a message you want to send to the rest of the aviation community, the folks that are not as deeply entrenched in avionics as the folks on this floor, to let the GA and the Biz Av and the Sport Av and Commercial Av folks know, what is it that you want them to know about the health of the avionics community and the services you provide?
I think given the climate of the last couple of months and things that have happened, I think it's important to say we're safe. We're safe.
Yeah.
We're the safest. And what's going on in this room, these folks are working on that technology to make it even safer. And we're laser focused on that. Sustainable. We're not the pollutants that you say we are. These are tools that are used for a lot of very important things, from EMS to police, firefighting. It's first and foremost, it's those things, right? And then it's an incredible business tool. It's an incredible recreational tool. It's just plain fun.
Yep.
And
so to speak.
Yeah, right. To use that however you'd like, but and it's an exciting industry, and there's a lot of opportunity in it. And I've been in it now nearly 30 years, and definitely seen our ups and downs. But it's a healthy industry worldwide, and there's just a ton of opportunity out there, and we're just appreciative of all the folks that help make it work for us as well.
Very good.
Yeah.
Mike Adamson, the boss of AEA and the fellow who has been bringing this to the aviation community over the last 6 years as the boss, and many years before. 30, you say?
Almost.
God, we're getting old. I mean, damn. I mean, holy smokes. I can't thank enough for spending time. I can't thank enough for continuing to work with us and welcoming us to work with you folks every year at the convention and at various other places throughout the year. Yeah, Oshkosh is bigger, yeah, Sun and Fun's bigger, but we enjoy this and we're more comfortable here than any place. We feel a part of this community and we feel quite welcomed and it's fun. And we know everybody's name now and, you know, getting a little inbred, but we're doing okay.
Right.
Mike,
good.
thanks so much.
Thank you.
Folks, tell you what, it has been a long 3 days, a lovely 3 days. We hustled out of Jacksonville the better part of a week ago to get out here and get everything set up. Everything has worked pretty much as expected, so from the technical side, I'm glad we haven't embarrassed ourselves. But once again, I have this incredible staff of people who do extraordinary work, and they've done extraordinary work every day that I've known them. Chief is the wizard behind the curtain, don't bother him, is Nathan Cremasino, our chief videographer. And boy, there's no way this company exists without Nathan. He's done an extraordinary job. Holland Lee, who has been the host of Airborne for a number of years and working the cameras and running around the floor and being our roving videographer today using our wireless technology that's finally working. Boy, you just cannot find a nicer, more devoted, harder working person than Holland. She does extraordinary work and I'm incredibly glad to have her on our team. We have put Zach behind the camera. Zach is normally one of our editorial people and we're training him up on cameras here and he's been making faces at me for the last couple of days, but it's working out pretty well and we thank you very much for that. Caitlin Wilson is somewhere around here talking about Aero-News and Sun and Fun and a bunch of other things that are coming up as our communications person. And finally, last but certainly not least, my wife Masako organizes this, keeps me rolling along pretty good, make sure that everything is matched in the morning when I'm getting ready to come in to do all this, and supports me in ways I can't possibly tell you, and that is appreciated so very much. And after 11 years, she puts up with me, which is extraordinary. But come April 1st, we are back at it again, actually March 31st, with the Innovation Preview at Sun and Fun at 1600 Eastern. And I've seen the list, I've talked to most of the people involved. We have some extraordinary, I mean, groundbreaking announcements in a number of areas, power plants, airframes, you name it, pretty cool. Of course, all the cool avionics stuff was here 2 days ago. We will be every morning, a morning brief at 0900, what's happening during the day, what to expect, weather, air shows, and the like. Every afternoon, Holland will be doing Airborne without fail, telling you about the features and the coolness of the day. Throughout each day is the Sun and Fun Digital Daily, snfdd.com, the website where all the stories go. And Zach's going to be really involved in that one, just pounding away on the keyboard. We'll have video teams shooting features for dissemination later on, and that's probably in excess of 100 features because we've got extra video talent coming this year. And finally, Saturday Flight Live. The day and the night air show at Sun and Fun will be shot live. We've done the day air show, that's exciting, that's intriguing, but the night air show, that's going to be something else. There's a lot more to come. Again, we're deeply appreciative of everybody who helped us get here. We're excited to be ready for Sun and Fun, hopefully Friedrichshafen right afterwards, and keep in mind Oshkosh isn't too far behind, and of course, we'll drag our usual 20, 30 people out there and do our best. On behalf of the Aero-News Network, on behalf of all of our friends at AEA, on behalf of the people that we work with and care for and respect so deeply within the aviation world, this is the Aero-News Network, live from AEA 2025. We're having a ball. It's cool stuff. Make sure you get to the next one. For the Aero-News Network, I'm Jim Campbell. See you at Sun and Fun.
Aero-News Network's coverage of the 68th Annual AEA International Convention and Trade Show, live from Phoenix, Arizona, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
The future of USB charging power has arrived. Introducing new ultra-fast charging TA360 USB chargers. Unlock the power of USB Power Delivery PD technology. Max power. Multiple configurations. In-seat cabin, cockpit, and galley USB power, and a direct upgrade for all True Blue Power USB chargers, compatible with any USB electronic device. Easy to install, backed by the best. True Blue Power, the USB experts.
Are you ready to ace your FAA drone pilot knowledge test, get your remote pilot certificate, and start earning money? Well, flying a drone is a great tool that can open up new business opportunities for anyone. Realtor, insurance adjuster, videographer, or commercial weekend drone warrior, you need to fly legally. Whether you're pursuing your initial Part 107 remote pilot certificate or you need a renewal, King Schools has a course just for you. So start learning today at kingschools.com.
The legendary BD4C program is building an exciting future for those who want a rugged four-seat family flyer with a proven history. The SureWings program produces a complete kit and builder assist program that gives you everything you need to be flying a BD4CS in record time. For conventional kit builders, BD Aviation has parts, partial kits, and full kits for the 190-mile-per-hour BD4C that has logged thousands of hours. Visit SureWings.com and BDAviation.com for more details.
Meet the first of a new generation of the M-Class family. The M700 Fury. An aircraft worthy of the name, an indomitable force. The M700 Fury transcends traditional limits with more power, blistering performance, a finely appointed interior, and the luxury of what matters most. Time. Experience the Fury. Join the legacy.
Direct Fly USA proudly introduces the new Alto NG, a single-engine, two-seat light sport aircraft for the North American market. This simple, all-metal aircraft design provides low-maintenance cost, easy, comfortable access, and responsive flight controls. Equipped with the Rotax 912 engine and a ballistic parachute, the Alto NG is reliable and safe. Learn more about the Alto NG at directflyusa.com.
Flying is my entire life. It's all that I've ever known. I've relied on Hartzell propellers since about 1995. Hartzell means much more than a propeller. It's a relationship. When you hear the phrase built on honor, they care about us as pilots, they care about our community, and they care about the product they build. It's such a proud honor to fly behind that propeller.
Looking for a new generation of proven and efficient aviation power plants that boast modern engineering, electronic ignition, and both direct and gear drive systems? With 100 horsepower to 240 horsepower, the Skyline and Redline engines offer uncommon value in an overpriced industry. Whether you are looking for fixed wing or rotor, MW Fly Americas has been established to service the American market with dedication and expertise. MWFlyAmericas.com.
For over 30 years, the massive Sport Plane Resource Guide has provided expert, credible information, evaluations, and critical analysis of all that the sport aviation world has to offer. The all-new digital Sport Plane Resource Guide is coming with extensive multimedia features that are constantly updated, an even more comprehensive online guide to all things sport aviation. Available soon. www.sportplane.com.